Yes, that is sad. Very sad about Dolly. Yes, that does suck. She was cool peoples. She was cool peoples. Oh no, she did a lot of driving. That is not fun. That is not fun at all. I know what that's like. All right, I think we're all set up now. Boom. Excuse me. Yeah, I honestly, after I heard about Dolly, y'all, I was gonna try to make a Dolly button, but I couldn't get it to work.
Am I Mr. Raz? Or am I Batman? For justice! For Gotham!
We have a Batman sighting. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a Batman sighting. Wild. Hey, Pete, thank you for the gifts. What's up, love? How is everybody doing tonight? Hope everybody's having a hello, Gam Gam. Hello. There we go. I think that'll be just a little bit. There we go. Oh no, the phone is low on battery. That is never good when we're low on the battery. That's all right. No worries. Thank you for stopping by for the little bit of time that you were able to. I do appreciate it. Dr. Lego won't say your joke. Why won't she say your joke? The Empire State Building turns pink at 9:25 for PNDW. Oh, they lighten it up for Dolly? That's going to be pretty, I bet. She's censoring. It's a Dolly part too soon. I did hear about that. I did hear about that. I did hear about that. I was going to try to make a button, but it wouldn't work right. It just wouldn't work right. Mr. Raz, I can't help you on this one. I'm outnumbered, buddy. I'm outnumbered, good sir. He said, I mean, what's new? Oh, wow. That's kind of funny. That's kind of funny. Oh, man. I don't know, every time, I hate to make it get a little sadder, but every time like somebody, like a celebrity passes, you know, I'm always like, oh no, who are the other two going to be? Because, you know, they always happen in threes, you know what I mean? It's like, oh no, who are the next ones going to be? No. These are my friends. May uh-oh, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest. What's up, good sir? How have you been, good friend? How have you been? Welcome, welcome. Ooh, you're right, DW. I forgot. Yeah, I hate to say I forgot, but yeah, Hayden. We just had Hayden. So who's the next one? Wow. All right. If Jonesy showed up, it'd be a party. And then one day we gonna get Logan and Melissa in here too, and then it'll be a super party. That's the goal one day right there. We're gonna have Rob in here. We're gonna have Jonesy and then Logan and Melissa. Then it'll be a true party. I see you've been traveling, my friend. I've been watching your TikTok all over the place. If y'all ain't seen, he has been doing conventions and book readings and parties, like not parties, but man's all over the place. I'm telling you. DW said I would perish from joy. Oh man. Yeah, sis, if y'all don't know, Rob, the man, the myth, the legend, voice actor for many different characters, but most of y'all may know him as his voice work as a Riddick. So if you don't know, right there, go to his TikTok page. Make sure you follow him. This man is live almost all the time he is home, okay? So yes, Gam Life, exactly. And I tell you what, this man, he goes live almost all the time. So you can actually see what he's doing. It is so cool to get the inside look. So I highly recommend. If you're a fan of Riddick, okay, there's his TikTok page. There you go. Yeah, oh, definitely we're a freaking Rob fan club. Hell yeah. And then I met him in real life, and he was actually a good person, too. Like, fucking green flags are flying out all over that place. It was fucking awesome. But yes, it is amazing. Excuse me. Brother, I'm glad you are having a great summer. I've been seeing you are freaking busy. I'm happy for you. If freaking, like, when you're busy like that, that means you're doing good in life. So, I mean, I'm happy. I can't be happier for you. Like, seriously, brother. It's good to see good people do good things. So, Mr. Rass, does anyone invite Brittany? Oh, Mr. Rass. Yeah, no, Mr. Rass. She came in here and did all that, and then she ghosted us, like, just been gone forever. It was crazy stuff. It was hilarious. Oh my gosh. And then, like, Lady Liz, right? She was like, what is happening, right? She went and looked, like, said like 20 messages the whole time between everywhere. That's it. And expected. I was so crazy. But anyway, it was wild. Hopefully that person is okay. I wish them nothing but the best. Don't want to talk bad about them. 17. See, I was giving them too much credit. It was 17 messages in 4 months. 17 messages in 4 months, and was upset. I didn't remember them. I tried my best. I did, but it is what it is. That was pretty crazy. But see, when you got cool people like Rob that come in here, you remember them because they actually talk and said, hello, what's up? You know what I'm saying? So, it's awesome. We don't talk about Britney. No. Cadzilla, what's up? Welcome back. Glad to see you. Cadzilla, see, as a matter of fact, like, I remember the name. Like, this is what's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Cadzilla, I have seen the name, I think almost the last 3 or 4 lives. Maybe last 2 for sure, but last 3 or 4. See, I remember the names. So for somebody to sit here and say, oh my Lord. Anyway, okay. You know what? We need to calm it down. We need to calm my blood pressure down. It's been a little elevated today. It really has been. People have been all over. A few times I swore I was going to. For what? What are you talking about? What happened?
I'm just following my destiny.
I came back to life. What did you do, Dr. Lego? Oh, that's hilarious. I was about to, oh no. That's crazy. You got kicked. I don't know what happened. I don't know. Maybe somebody accidentally fat fingered. I don't know. That was crazy. Yes, he did. Yes. Rob he also voiced the Autumn King from the Crescent series cities. And he did 100% participate in our Flat Daddy Rune Club. Put pictures up and everything. So the dude is part of the group. He's in our Discord. He jumps in every once in a while just to say hi. But we try not to bug him too much because he is a busy man. As a matter of fact, I believe Rune is still with Emily. I believe Rune helped Emily with her move. Yes, see? He helped Emily with the move because nobody was sure who was ready for him yet. Yep. See, that's what she said last time too, y'all. I have to say this. Emily is not lying. She has asked many a times who to send him to. So yes, Dr. Lego, what's up, girl? What's up? Mr. Raz just you're about to lose your button, sir. Sir, you are about to lose your button.
Rune Danon, Crown Prince of the Valbaran
Mr. Raz, sir, let me explain something to you. Not only is Danon the crown prince of the Valbaran fucking Fae, that is the greatest male character written in fictional romantasy, in my opinion. Next, I hate to say, yeah, that's the only guy that I could honestly say is probably a better character than Rune. But I'm telling you, if Mr. Raz, when you're mowing the yard, when you're doing all the little honey-do lists that you don't want to do when you're outside in the sweltering heat, and you're doing it because you're going to make your lovely wife happy, because, you know, they say a happy wife, happy life, and it also makes life a little bit easier. You go ahead, you put the headphones on, you put on the audiobook if you got to, and you listen to it, and you take what those two characters do right there. Rowan fucking Whitethorn and Rune motherfucking Danon, right? You put those two characters, you put what they do, and you minus like one or two small incidences, okay? They got one or two small fucking little oops, I tripped, you know, but we don't talk about those things, okay? It's overlooked by their goodness, okay? And you mold those together, and if you put that into your fucking brain and you just relive those, your life will be it's fucking I'm just saying. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Gam, you are hilarious going there with the Eiffel Tower. That's funny. Just we don't talk about things like that and votes and other things. We don't talk about certain things. We don't talk about those things. They didn't happen. They were all fever dreams. They were fever dreams. Don't talk about that. But Mr. Raz, I'm telling you, those two characters unlock a magical key. Like, everybody's like, how do you figure out the psyche of a woman? You read the book. You just read the book, and then it opens it up. It's like watch. I think it actually does. Like, hang on. I'm going to turn my volume way up. See, I got my volume. Here, look. See, I can't really see it. Okay, I'm going to turn my volume way up. All right, here we go. Ready? See, it's the inside. It's the inside of the brain. You know what I mean? Hey, if you don't want to start out with fair is fucking something to listen, start out with fourth wing. Then you'll be like, I ride a fucking dragons, bitch. Rawr. Okay, it's pretty cool. Fourth wing's good too. You can fucking dragons, rawr. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty fucking cool, and it's like dragons with fucking like attitudinal problems. So, Mr. Raz, start out with, you'll like Fourth Wing. I believe you'll like Fourth Wing. And it's going to be a TV show. And you're going to have to watch it with us. So you might as well know what the fuck you're getting into. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. How about that? You know what I'm saying? Start with Fourth Wing. And after Fourth Wing, then you can join us when we do our rereads and shit. How about that? How about that? That's a good deal, right? Dragons fucking. Dragons fucking? I mean, technically, Taryn and Segale, they do be dragoning. I'm just saying, the dragons are later in. You know, speaking of later, where's Allie Grace? Where's Allie Grace? Where's Allie Grace? Dragons fucking. DW, I don't think dragons fucking is a spoiler. You know what I mean? I don't think that's a spoiler. You do a lot of dragging my dragon dudes. No, you dude, funny. That's funny. Okay, so we got some really good news. Coming in. As we told y'all over the weekend and then last night, my angel donors and everybody else. Thank you for the guest, Jody. Here you go, Jody. Yeah, thank you so much, Jody. Y'all, Jody, that is our noni. We know her in real life. She is a real person, so we love her. She's the best. This one, she'll like this one's for Noni. She usually doesn't show up here, so Jody, this one's for you. Snap. Okay, so like we told you, I put in and I've been trying because we're all tired of waiting for fucking somebody with money to do our live action ACOTAR. So I have been working on a script, and our angel donors in the budget department have come through. And I'm just gonna show you real quick, okay? Just so you see, you're gonna get I hope everybody is paying attention. I'm gonna give you a 5-second countdown to make you paying attention, because you're gonna get one look and one look only, okay? One look and one look only. Here we go. Hopefully you can see what everything is. If not, it's okay. Ready? Here you go. Yep. There you go. That's it. Oh, yep. And then there's oh yeah. Oh, and then there's and then there's and oh god. There you go. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, so yep, there you go. There you go. So listen. We're gonna keep it 100. We're gonna keep it 100% real, okay, y'all. We might not ever hit like the 10K follower. We might never hit 5, whatever. We might not ever hit like the 500,000 or the millions, okay. We might slowly build up to the 10K. I'll tell you that. But I tell you what, however many motherfuckers we got up in here, and y'all know I mean that. Oh, what's up, Bookish Nurse? I appreciate the follow. Oh, we did blow that budget, right? But I tell you what, whichever, y'all know I love y'all, and I say motherfuckers in a loving tone because I love all of y'all, all my voices and everybody. We gonna have some fucking fun down in here, okay? We gonna have some motherfucking fun up in here. I have been given permission to act like a complete idiot from Lady List, so that's what I'm gonna do, and it's crazy. Hey, welcome, the Bookish Nurse. Well, I hope you love it here. Listen, we're a little bit wabi-sabi, so I hope you don't mind, because we like to be a little crazy. So yes, the Mass versus your Empire. Well, hell yeah. Welcome. We're in the middle of our reread right now. We're actually going to end ACOTAR tonight, and then tomorrow we start ACOMAF. So you're coming in at a good time. I am wise, And these, my followers, we call them the voices. So welcome. I hope you enjoy yourself while you're here. And as a welcome gift, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna try to do this. Okay. I have to go in order first. Hopefully, I know if some of y'all don't like to talk in the chat, that's fine. You don't have to. But as y'all know, we have the buttons. So I have some new people in the chat that have just been here the last few days. So Gam, I know you've been here for a while, but I've never given you a button. So pick a number between 1 and 14, just not 3, because that's the chode button. I still have to work on that. So I need Gam Life, Catzilla, a Bloom Script, and Bookish Nurse. If you can all pick a number between 1 and 14, we're going to give y'all a welcome to the group button. All right, game starts with 11, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we got a 9. Oh, everybody's going to love. Two numbers, right? And then, thank you for the follow. And then we so there you go. So everybody, welcome to the group. Oh, we have another follower, the Bookish Dispatcher. Welcome. Thank you for the follow. If you would like to pick a number between 1 and 14, but not 3. Three's not ready yet. It's a bad button. Pick a number and you will get a quick play a button if you would like. Ooh, yes. Okay. And really quick, as y'all saw me while those buttons were playing, the wheel back here for all our new friends, our new voices, she said 12. All right. Ooh, gonna like this one. This is also a top one. Oh, there you go. Yes, Lady Jack, welcome. We haven't started quite yet. You definitely have made it. But yes, as I was saying, okay, so the wheel behind me, that is our Wheel of Destiny. I actually have to go back there and add another tick mark. That is what I decide what our TBR is. So as we go and read, all my voices, they get to put their nominations onto my TBR. And then we spin the Wheel of Destiny, and that's what's choose my reading adventure. So if a lot of y'all don't know, my name is Wise, and this person right here is my lovely wife, Lady Liz. Ah.
I got messed with something.
What are you messing with?
The buttons need to.
The what? Oh, the buttons need to come down?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gotcha. You need it.
need a buzzard, maybe.
Okay. I guess we need another one. Hang on. I tell you what, all the new people
Votes
are
from the
getting
chat.
the new people are getting button to it. Have fun, getting them live. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, babe, I never see it. If you Which one, P? That one? That one right there? So yes. Huh. So yeah, I'm Wise, and I've only been reading for like a year and a half, y'all. So this is actually the first series I've ever done a reread on. And this is the very first book that I actually started last year in February. So I'm new to reading, so I have a hard times with words sometimes, so you got to bear with me. I butcher names. It's not on purpose. It just we lean with it. Okay, it is what it is. We got some funny names, but yeah. So we're just here for a good time and we have fun. So I thank y'all for joining me, and my little wabi-sabi group of voices and friends. Because I tell you what, it's been an amazing adventure for somebody who literally a year and a half ago said, I am not a reader. You can't get me to read for Jack and Squat. And now here we are. I read 3 to 4 nights live, like a week. It's pretty crazy. So, and I believe it or not, I owe it to 2 things. I owe it to her. Oh, sorry, babe. I owe it to her right here for 10 years. She pushed me and for this book, because this is the story that she asked me to read, and this is what started it all. So, believe it or not, that's where we are today. For a quick little backstory, Wing Leader's live readings are so... Oh, yeah, clean. Listen, you never know what's going to happen. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Should you introduce them
Oh, yeah. Oh, Lord. Listen, it gets to listen. All I can say is it gets a little wabi-sabi in here, okay? You never know what's going to happen. We're just going to leave it at that. There are props. Lots of props. Lots of props. And I don't mean any disrespect for people that don't know me. Everything is meant in good fun, and nothing is meant for disrespect.
Since we know this is a reread,
yeah,
and we know what's about to come, I'm just gonna...
Oh, Lord. You're just... She's checking the safety parameters, y'all. She's checking the safety parameters. I appreciate you, Dr. Lego. I appreciate you. Yes, and I do have a Kindle because my amazing voices have bought me a Kindle. But for this reading, we're making it special because I tab as well now too.
All right, good.
Are we ready? You think I'm safe? I hope so. If you don't know, this is Jack Barlow. That's Jack Barlow. He's our resident friend, because we love Jack Barlow. All right, Courtney, have a good night. Hey, I hope, listen, the school year is you're going to get it. The school year, them kids are going to finally get it and chill out for you. I promise you. It's all going to be good. No, I'm just playing. All right, everybody. Are we ready to finish out A Court of Thorns and Roses? Remember how I used to call it a quarter thrones and roses? I couldn't even get it right.
It's like a jacked up version of Guns N' Roses.
Right? It was so bad. Where are you going?
Huh?
Are you can't sit there. I love you. You're putting yourself in the line of fire. I'm going to go. No. Please no. Okay. All right. I think we're ready. Rip to a quart of thorns and roses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was horrible. A cord of thrones. Oh, it was so bad. It was so bad. All right. Let's get into it. The finale of A Court of Thorns and Roses. Chapter 41. What followed the second trial was a series of days that I do not care to recall. A permanent darkness settled over me, and I began to look forward to the moment when Rhysand gave me the goblet of fairy wine, and I could lose myself for a few hours. I stopped contemplating Amarantha's riddle, the fucking easiest riddle in the world. I'm sorry. It was impossible, especially for an illiterate, ignorant human. Bullshit! Because I knew the riddle in my first book, Feyre. I knew it when she said it. That's a bullshit-ass excuse. I'm sorry. Thinking of Tamlin made everything worse. I'd beaten 2 of Amaranth's tasks, but I knew it deep in my bones that the third would be the one to kill me. Damn, that's some foreshadowing. I'm sorry. Is that some foreshadowing, or is that just her being like, that's fucking life? Ooh, that's sorry. After what happened to her sister, what Jurian had done, she would never let me leave here alive. I couldn't entirely blame her. I doubted I would ever forget or forgive something like that being done to Nesta or Elaine, no matter how many centuries had passed. But it wasn't going to leave her alive. The future I dreamed of was just that, a dream. I'd grow old and withered, and while we would remain young for centuries, perhaps millennia, at best I'd have decades with him before I died. Decades. That's what I was fighting for. A flash of time for them. A drop in the pool of their eons. So I greedily drank the wine, and I stopped caring about what I was and what had once mattered to me. I stopped thinking about color and about light and about the green in Tamlin's eyes. About all those things I had still wanted to paint and now would never get to. I wasn't going to leave this mountain alive. I was walking to the dressing chamber with Rhysand's 2 shadow servants, staring at nothing and thinking of even less, when a hissing noise and a flap of wings sounded from around an upcoming corner. The ACOTAR. The fairies beside me tensed, but their chins rose slightly. I never become accustomed to the ACOTAR, but I had come to accept the malignant presence. Malignant. I looked that one up, y'all. I don't know. I still ain't figured that one out. Malignant presence. Malignant? Is that malignant? No way. That is malignant. Holy fucking shitballs. That's malignant. Thank you, love. Thank you. That's malignant. Okay, there we go. All right. Got it. I know that word. Ha! Okay, malignant. Sorry. Seeing my escort stiffen, awaken a dormant dread, and mouth turned dry as we neared the bend, even though we were veiled and hidden by shadows. Each step brought me closer to that winged demon. My feet turned laden, then lowered. A guttural voice grunted in response to the hissing of the ACOTAR. Nails clicked on stone, and my escort swapped glances before they swung me into the alcove, a tapestry that I hadn't been there in a moment before falling over us, the shadows deepening, solidifying. I had a feeling that if someone pulled back the tapestry, they would only see darkness and stone. One of them covered my mouth with a hand, holding me tightly to her. Shadows slithering down my arms and onto mine. She smelled of jasmine. I never noticed that before. After all these nights, I didn't even know their name. The ACOTAR and its companion rounded the bend, still talking, their voices low. It was only when I could understand their words that I realized we weren't merely hiding.
Yes,
The ACOTAR was saying.
good. She'll be most pleased to hear that they are ready at last.
But will the High Lord contribute their forces? The guttural voice replied. I could have sworn it snorted like a pig. They came closer and closer, unaware of us. My escorts pressed in tighter to me, so tense that I realized that they were holding their breath. Handmaidens and spies. The High Lords will do as she tells them, the Ator gloated, and its tail slithered and slashed across the floor. I heard talk of the soldiers in Highborn that the High King is not pleased regarding its situation with the girl. Amaranth has made a fool bargain. She'll cost him the war the last time because of her madness with Jurian. If she turns her back on him again, he will not be so willing to forgive her. Stealing his spells and taking a territory for her own is one thing. Failure to aid in his cause a second time is another. There was a loud hiss, and I trembled as the Ator snapped its jaw on its companion. Milady makes no bargain that are not advantageous to her. She lets them claw at hope. But once it's shattered, they are her beautifully broken minions. They had to be passing right before the tapestry. You had better hope so, the guttural voice replied. What manner of creature was this thing to be so unmoved by the Ator? My escort's shadowy hand clamped tighter around my mouth, and the Ator passed on. Don't trust your senses. Alice's voice echoed through my mind. The Ator had caught me once before when I thought I was safe. And you better not, and you had better hold your tongue, the Ator warned, or my lady will do so for you, and her pincers are not kind. Her pincers are not kind. That's what DW was talking. DW was talking about that shit earlier. Ooh, that's what you was pincers right there, DW. I see. I like that. Needs. Is it just saying? I see. Is it just being? Yeah. Okay. I got you. Yeah. I see. Is it just a metaphor, or is it actually a? I'm picking up what you're putting down. Slash we welcome. I'm glad we got you, DW, for noticing that. For DW.
I've always liked to. I've always liked to.
I am trying to learn everybody's favorite button. I am trying so hard to learn everybody's favorite button. I am. All right. Back to the story. The other creature snorted that pig noise. Who the fuck? I don't remember who this is. I am here on a condition of immunity from the king. If your lady thinks she's above the king because she rules this wretched land, she'll soon remember who can strip her powers away without spells and potions. The Ator didn't reply, and part of me wished for it to retort, to snap back. But it was silence, and my fear hit my stomach like a stone dropped in the pool. Whatever plans the King of Hybern had been working on these years, this campaign to take back the mortal world, it seemed was no longer content to wait. Perhaps Amaranth would soon receive what she wanted, destructions of my entire realm. My blood went cold. Nesta. I never trusted Nesta to get my family away, to protect them. I read that one wrong. Break up, scratch that. Don't pay attention to what the wise said. My blood went cold. Nesta. I trusted Nesta to get my family away, to protect them. Their voices faded, and it wasn't until a good extra minute had passed that the two females relaxed. The tapestry vanished, and we slipped back into the hall. What was that? I was looking from one to the other, and the shadows around us lightened, but not by much. Who was that? I clarified. Trouble, they answered in unison. Does Rasan know? He will soon, one of them said. We resumed our silent walk to the dressing room. There was nothing I could do about the King of Hybern anyway, not while trapped under the mountain. Not that I had even been able to free Tamlin, much less myself. And with Nesta prepared to flee with my family, there was no one else to warn. So day after day passed, bringing my third trial ever closer. I suppose I sank so far into myself that it took something extraordinary to pull me out again. I was watching the light dancing along the damp stones of the ceiling of my cell, like like moonlit on the water, when a noise traveled to me, down through the stones, ripping across the floor. I was used to the strange fiddles and drums of the fairies that when I heard the living melody, I thought it was another hallucination. Sometimes, if I stared at the ceiling long enough, it became a vast expanse of a starry night, and I became a small, unimportant thing that blew away in the wind. I looked towards the small vent in the corner in the ceiling through which the music entered my cell. The source must have been far away, for it was just a faint stirring of notes. But when I closed my eyes, I could hear it more clearly. I could see it. As if I were a grand painting, a living mural. There was beauty in this music, beauty and goodness. The music folded over on itself like battering being poured from a bowl, one note atop another, melting together to form a whole, rising, filling me. It wasn't wild music, but there was a violence of the passion in it, a swelling kind of joy and sorrow. I pulled my knees to my chest, needing to feel the sturdiness. Oh, thank you for the follow. For the sturdiness of my skin, even with the slime of the oil paint upon it. The music built a path and ascend found upon the archways of color. I followed it, walked out of the cell, through the layers of the earth, up and up in the fields of cornflowers, past the canopies of trees, and into the open expanse of the sky. The pulse of the music was like hands that gently pushed me onward, pulling me higher, guiding me through the clouds. I'd never seen clouds like this, and their puffy sides. I could discern their faces fair and sorrow. They faded before I could view them too clearly, and I looked into the distance to where the music summoned me. It was either a sunset or sunrise. The sun filled the clouds with magenta and purple, and its orange gold rays blended with my path to form a band of shimmering metal. I wanted to fade into it, wanted the light of that sun to burn me away, to fill me with such joy that I would become a ray of sunshine myself. It just wasn't music to dance to. It was music to worship. Music to fill in the gaps of my soul, to bring me to a place where there was no pain. I didn't realize I was weeping until the wet warmth of a tear splashed upon my arm. But even then I clung to the music, gripping it like a ledge that kept me from falling. I hadn't realized how badly I didn't want to tremble in that deep dark, how much I wanted to stay here among the clouds and the color and the light. I let the sounds ravage me. I let them lay me flat and run over my body with their drums, up and up, building to a place in the sky, a hall of alabaster and moonstone, where all that was lovely and kind and fantastic dwelt in peace. I wept to be so close to that place, wept from the need to be there. Everything I wanted was there. The one I loved was there. The music Tamlin was strumming on my body. It was gold in his eyes and the twist of his smile. Excuse me. It was the breathy chuckle and the way he said those three words. It was this. I was fighting. For this, I had sworn to save. The music rose louder, grander, faster from whatever it was played. A wave that peaked, shattering in the gloom of my cell. A shuddering sob broke from me as the sound faded into silence. I sat there trembling and weeping, too raw and exposed, left naked by the music and the color of my mind. When the tears had stopped by the music still echoed in every breath, and I laid on my pallet of hay, listening to my breathing. The music filtered my memories, binding them together, making them into a quilt that wrapped around me. They warmed my bones. I looked in the eyes in the center of my palm. It only stared right back at me, unmoving. 2 days until my final trial. Just 2 more days, and then I would learn what the Edis of the Cauldron had planned for me. Ooh, bum bum bum. All right. Do we think that is the song? Do we think that's the song that they're talking about, or is that something else? Okay. So I've also heard something that if everybody here's done throwing a glass, right? Everybody's done all throw to glass. Everybody's done throwing a glass, I'm sure. I'm going to wait 2 seconds if you haven't done throwing a glass. I don't want to spoil nothing. You have not done throwing a glass? Okay, if you haven't read throwing a glass, I'm not going to say nothing. All right. You're on Kingdom of Ash. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, Lady Jack, have you done anything at all and just not finished it, or have you just not started it? Because if you haven't even started it, then I don't want to even, but like Ash, she's in Kingdom of Ash, so I could actually, she's gone past the parts I would need to discuss. So if not, don't worry about it. We can talk Theory Thursdays. That's what we have that for, and everything else. So not a big deal, but all right. We should be coming back now. We should be coming back in. Should be coming. That's what she said. Should be. There we go. Everything. Okay. Here we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, it looked like Tiki Talkie was having some issues. We lost connection. Tiki Talkie came back in. We had a few drops. So there we go. Is everybody back now? All right. We'll give a few minutes. Did I get, that is DW. You haven't met Dylan yet. DW, that's Dylan. Okay, hang on. Before we get to Dylan, we spun the wheel. It was the Jasad Air. All right. Yes. For all the new people here, we also have a Discord server. If you would like to join the Discord, just let us know. One of them will get you the link to the Discord. Basically, if y'all don't know, the Discord is the book club group chat you didn't know you needed. Disclaimer, you never know what's going to happen in there. Be prepared. Allie Gray, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, ladies and men of all ages, Allie Grace. All right. Yes, if one of the voices, if y'all want to drop the Discord link down for all the new people, or find out who wants them and send that message to the Discord, and then please jump in. Welcome to the group. Welcome to the Discord. If you decide to join down, like I said, that's the group chat that never ends. We have people around the world. And when I say that, I mean literally around the world. We have lots of friends in South Africa, Australia, Ashies in Australia. I'm not trying to give your place out. We got people all over. So there's usually somebody on talking, conversations going. Please know if you're not new with Discord, there's a lot of different channels and a lot of conversations going on. Okay? So you might try to have a conversation, and sometimes it might take people a few days just to see the message. But once we see the message, a lot of people, there's usually conversations going on. So anyway, all right. Awesome. Okay, well, I think we are ready to move on to chapter 42. Oh, yes. A lot of us are ADHD AF, among other things. So, yeah, like I said, we're wabi-sabi. All right. Chapter 42. Let's do it. It was a party like no other, even if it would likely be my last. Fairies drank and lounged and danced, laughing and singing oddly and ethereal songs. No glimmer of anticipation for what might occur tomorrow. What I stood to alter from them, for their world. What I stood to literally, she is gonna either. Wow. Okay, you know, I didn't think of that. I never thought of that. Okay, so this time, like that line right there, okay, so she says no glimmer of anticipation from what might occur tomorrow. What I stood to alter for them, for their world. Either way, their world was going to change at this event. Like, because if she wins, like how it's crazy it's going to change. And if, wow, she was literally altering worlds no matter what happened. That's crazy. Perhaps they knew I would die too. I lurked by the wall, forgotten by the crowd, waiting for Rhysand to beckon me to drink the wine and dance or do whatever it was he wished for me. I was clothed in my typical attire, tattooed from the neck down of that blue-black paint. Tonight, my gossamer gown was the shade of sunset pink, the color too bright and feminine against the whirls and paints too cheery for what... Is this the fucking... I swear to... Is this the goddamn Tamlin chat? Is this the chapter where I really lose my shit on him? Is this the chapter under the fucking shit? This might be where I really lost it for my guy. Well, started to really lose it for my guy. Okay, hang on. I'm sorry. If this is the... you son of... Sorry. I'm sorry. All right. Rhysand was taking longer than usual to sun me, though it was probably because of his supple-bodied fairy perched in his lap, caressing his hair with her long, greenish fingers. He'd tire of her soon. I didn't bother to look at Amarantha. I was better off pretending she wasn't there. Lucian never spoke to me in public, and Tamlin... It had become difficult to look at him in recent days. Oh, yes, Ashley, 100%, 100%. I just wanted it done. I wanted that wine to carry me through this last night and bring me to my fate. I was so intent on anticipating Rhysand's orders to serve him that I didn't notice that someone stood beside me until the heat from his body leaked onto mine. I went rigid with the smell and I ran the earth scent and I didn't dare to turn to Tamlin. We stood side by side, staring at the crowd and still and unnoticeable as statues. His fingers brushed mine and a line of fire went through me, burning so badly that my eyes pricked with tears. I wished he wasn't touching my marred hand, that his fingers didn't have to caress the contours of that wretched tattoo. Fucking, it's chapter 42 of all chapters, too. Son of a bitch. But I lived in that moment. My life became beautiful again. Those few seconds when our hands gazed. I kept my face set in a mask of cold. He dropped his hands, and quickly as he had come, he sauntered off, weavering through the crowd. It was only when he glanced over his shoulder and inclined his head ever so slightly that I understood. Fucking chode. My heart beat faster than it ever had during the trials, and it made myself look as bored as possible before I pushed off the wall and casually strolled over to him. I gotta not let my personal feelings get into this and read at a normal pace. I took a different route, but I headed toward the small door, half hidden by the tapestry near which he lingered. I had only moments before Rhysand would begin looking for me, but a moment alone with Tamlin would be enough. I could scarcely breathe as I moved nearer and nearer to the door, past Amarantha's diocese. Past a group of giggling fairies, Tamlin disappeared through the door as quick as lightning, and I slowed my steps to the meandering pace. These days, no one really paid attention to me until I became Rhys's drugged plaything. All too quickly, the door was before me, and it swung open noisily to let me in. Darkness encompassed me. I saw only a flash of green and gold before the warmth of Tamlin's body slammed into me, and our lips met. I couldn't kiss him deeply enough. Couldn't hold him tightly enough. Couldn't touch him enough. You don't even do it. It's disgusting. Words weren't necessary. I tore at his shirt, feeling the needing to feel the skin beneath one last time. I had to stifle the moan that rose up as he gasped. And I didn't want him to be gentle, because what I felt for him wasn't all like that. What I had felt was wild and hard and burning. And so he was with me. He tore his lips from mine and bit my neck. Bit as if he had on fire night. I had to grind my teeth to keep myself from moaning and giving us away. This might be the last time I touched him. The last time we would be together. We could only hope. I wouldn't waste it. My fingers grappled with his belt buckle. His mouth found mine again. Our tongues danced, not a waltz or a minute, but a war dance, a death dance of bone drums and screaming fiddles. I hooked a leg around his middle, needing to be closer, and he ground his hips against me, crushing me to the icy wall. I pried the belt buckle loose, whipping the leather free, and Tamlin growled his desire in my ear, a low, probing sort of sound that made me red and white and lightning. We both knew what tomorrow would bring. I tossed away his belt and started to fumble at his pants. Someone coughed. Shameful, Rhysand purred, and we whirled to find him faintly illuminated by the light that broke in through the doorway. But he stood behind us, further in the passage, rather than toward the door. He had come in through the throne room. With the ability of his, he had probably walked through the walls. Just shameful. He stalked towards us. Tamlin remained holding me. Look at what you've done to my pet. Panting, neither of us said anything, but the air became a cold kiss upon my skin, upon my exposed. Amarath would be greatly aggravated, if she knew her little warrior was dallying with the human help. Rhysand went on, crossing his arms. I wonder how she'd punish you, perhaps, or if she'd stay true to the habit and punish Lucian. He still has one eye to lose. After all, maybe she'll put it in the ring, too. Ever so slowly, Tamlin removed my hand from his body and stepped out of my embrace. I'm glad to see you're being reasonable, Rhysand said, and Tamlin bristled. Now be a clever High Lord and buckle your belt and fix your clothes before you go out there. Tamlin looked at me in my horror and did as Rhysand instructed. My High Lord never took his eyes off my face and straightened his tunic and his hair, then retrieved and fastened his belt again. The paint on my hands and clothes, paint from me, vanished. Enjoy the party, Rhysand crooned, pointing to the door. Tamlin's green eyes flickered as he continued to stare into mine. He said softly, Without another glance at Rhysand, he left. Sorry, I won't say it like Tam. No, fuck him. Sorry. No, you don't deserve her, you... I was temporarily blinded by the brightness that poured when I opened the door and slipped out. He did not look back at me before the door snickered shut and darkness returned to the dim hall. Rhysand chuckled. If you're that desperate for a release, you should have asked me. Pig! I snapped, covering with the folds of my gown. With a few easy steps, he crossed the distance between us and pinned my arms to the wall. My bones groaned. I could have sworn shadow talons dug into the stones beside my head. Do you actually intend to put yourself at my mercy? Or are you truly that stupid? His voice was composed and sensuous, bone-breaking ear. I'm not your slave. You're a fool, Farah. Do you have any idea what could happen had Amaranth found you two in here? Tamlin might refuse to be her lover, but she keeps him at her side out of the hope that she'll break him, dominate him, as she loves to do with our kind. I kept silent. You're both fools, he murmured, his breathing uneven. How do you not think that someone would notice you were gone? You should think the Cauldron Lucian's delightful brothers weren't watching you. What do I care? I barked, and his grip tightened enough on my wrist that I knew my bones would snap with a little more pressure. What do I care? He breathed. Wraith twisting his features, wings, those membranous, glorious wings. Oh, we love us some wings, y'all. Flared on his back, crafted from the shadows behind him. What do I care? But before he could go on, his head snapped to the door, then back to my face. The wings vanished as quickly as they appeared. Then his lips were crushing into mine. His tongue pried my mouth open, forcing himself into me, into the space where I could still taste Tamlin. I pushed and thrashed, but he held me firm, his tongue sweeping over my roof of my mouth against my teeth, claiming my mouth, claiming me. The door flung wide open, and Amarantha's curved finger filled its space. Tamlin was beside her, his eyes slightly wide, shoulders tight as Reese's lips still crushed mine. Amarantha laughed. And a mask of stone slammed down on Tamlin's face, void of feeling, void of anything vaguely like that Tamlin I'd been tangled up with moments before. Reese casually released me with the flick of his tongue over my bottom lip as the crowd of the high fae appeared behind Amarantha and chimed in with laughter. Reese gave them a lazy, self-indulgent grin and bowed. But something sparked in the queen's eyes as she looked at Rhysand. Amarantha's whore, they called him. I knew it was a matter of time, she said, putting a hand on Tamlin's arm. The other she lifted so Jurian's eye might see, as she said, "You humans are all the same, aren't you?" I kept my mouth shut, even as I could have died for shame, even as I ached to explain. Tamlin had to realize the truth, but I wasn't given that luxury of learning whether Tamlin understood as Amaranth clicked her tongue and turned away, taking her entourage with her. A typical human trash and their inconsistent dull hearts, she said to herself. Nothing more than a satisfied cat. Following them, Reese grabbed my arm and dragged me back to the throne room. It was only when the light hit me that I saw the smudges and smears of paint, smudges along my breast and stomach, and the paint that had mysteriously appeared on Rhysand's hands. "I'm tired of you tonight," Rhysand said, giving me the light shove towards the main exit. "Go back to your cell." Behind him, Amarantha and her court smiled with glee, their grins widening when they beheld the marred paint. I looked for Tamlin, but he was stalking for his usual throne on the dais, keeping his back to me, as if I couldn't stand to look. As if he couldn't stand to look. Fucking chode! That's what he is! He's a fucking chode! He's a fucking chode! Sorry, I don't know what time it was, but hours later, footsteps sounded inside my cell. I jolted into a seating position, and Rhysand stepped out of the shadow. I could still feel the heat on his lips against me, the smooth gild of his tongue inside my mouth, even though I washed my mouth out 3 times with a bucket of water in my cell. His tunic was unbuttoned at the top, and he ran his hand through his blue-black hair before he wordlessly stumbled against the wall across from me and slid to the floor. "What do you want?" I demanded. "A moment of peace and quiet," he snapped, rubbing his temples. I paused. "From what?" He massaged his pale skin, making the corners of his eyes go up and down, out and in. He sighed. "From this mess." I sat up further on my pallet of hay. I'd never seen him so candid. "That damn bitch is running me ragged," he went on, and dropped his hands from his temples to lean in against the wall. "You hate me. Imagine how you'd feel if I made you serve me in the bedroom. I'm a High Lord of the Night Court, not her harlot." So the slurs were true, and I could imagine very easily how much I would hate him, what it would do to me to be enslaved to someone like that. "Why are you telling me this?" The swagger, the nastiness were gone. "Because I'm tired and lonely, and you're the only person I can talk to without putting myself at risk." Damn. Damn. He let out a low laugh. How absurd. A High Lord of Prynthian. And, "You can leave if you're going to insult me." "But I'm so good at it." He flashed one of his grins. I glared at him, but he sighed. "One wrong move tomorrow, Feyre, and we're all doomed." The thought struck a chord of such horror that I could hardly breathe. "And if you fail," he went on, more to himself than to me, "then Amarantha will rule forever. If she captured Tamlin's power once, who's to say she can't do it again?" It was the question that I hadn't yet dared voice. "He won't be tricked again so easily," he said, staring up at the ceiling. "Her biggest weapon is that she keeps our powers contained, but can't access them. Not wholly. Though she can't control us, though, through them. It's why I've never been able to shatter her mind, why she's not dead already. The moment you break Amarantha's curse, Tamlin's wrath will be so great that no force in the world will keep him from splattering her on the walls. Why do you think I'm doing this? He waved his hand to me. Because you're a monster. He laughed. True, but I'm also a pragmatist. Working Tamlin into a senseless fury is the best weapon we have against her. Seeing you enter into a fool's bargain with Amarantha was one thing, but when Tamlin saw my tattoo on your arm, oh, you should have been born with my abilities. If only to have felt the rage that seeped from him. I don't want to think too much of his abilities. Who's to say he won't splatter you as well? Splatter. Perhaps he'll try, but I have a feeling he'll kill Amarantha first. That's what it boils down to. Anyway, even if your servitude to me can be blamed on her, so he'll kill her tomorrow, and I'll be free before he can start a fight with me. That'll reduce our once sacred mountain to rubble. He picked at his nails. I have a few other cards to play. I lifted my brow in silence. Feyre, for Coldren's sake, I drug you. But don't worry. Why? I never touch you beyond your wrists. But don't you wonder why I never touched you beyond your wrists in your arms? Until tonight. Until that damned kiss. I gritted my teeth, but even as my anger rose, a picture cleared. It's the only claim I have to innocence, he said. The only thing that will make Tamlin think twice before entering into a battle with me. Because that would cause catastrophic loss of innocent life. It's the only way I can convince him I was on your side. Believe me, I would have liked nothing more than to have enjoyed you. But there are bigger things at stake than taking a human woman to my bed. I knew, but I still asked. Like what? Like my territory, he said, and his eyes held a far look that I hadn't yet seen. Like my remaining people enslaved to a tyrant queen who can end their lives with a single word. Surely Tamlin expressed similar sentiments to you? He hadn't entirely. He hadn't been able to, thanks to the curse. Why did Amarantha target you? I dared to ask. Why make you her whore? Beyond the obvious, he gestured to his perfect face. When I didn't smile, he loosed a breath. My father killed Tamlin's father, and his brothers. I started. Tamlin had never told me about the Night Court was responsible for that. It's a long story, and I don't feel like getting into it. But let's just say that when she stole our lands from under us, Amarantha decided that especially wanted to punish their sons of her friend's murderer. Decided that she hated me enough for my father's deeds that I was to suffer. I might have reached a hand toward him, might have offered my apologies. Excuse me. But every thought had dried up in my head. What Amarantha had done to him. So, he said wearily, here we are, with the fate of our immortal world in the hands of an illiterate human. Damn! His laugh was unpleasant as he hung his head, cupping his forehead in his hand and closed his eyes. What a mess. Part of me searched for the words to the wound of his vulnerable, but the other half recalled all that said, all that he had done, how his head had snapped to the door before he'd kissed me. He'd known Amarantha was coming. Maybe he'd done it to make her jealous. But maybe, if he hadn't been kissing me, if he hadn't shown up and interrupted us, I would have gone out of that throne room covered in smudged paint, and everyone, especially Amarantha, would have known what I'd been up to. It wouldn't have taken much to figure out whom I'd been with, especially not once they saw the paint on Tamlin. I didn't want to consider what punishment that might have been. Regardless of his motives or his methods, Rhysand was keeping me alive, and he had done even so before I set foot under the mountain. She's starting to get it. I didn't realize that she actually admitted it right there. Ooh, okay, so she actually sees it there. All right. I've told you too much, he said as he got on his feet. Perhaps I should have schmugged you first. If you were clever, you'd find a way to use this against me, and if you had any stomach for cruelty, you'd go to Amarantha, tell her the truth about her whore. Perhaps she'd give you Tamlin for it. He slid his hand into his pocket of his pants, but even as he faded into the shadows, there was something in the curve of his shoulders that made me speak. When you healed my arm, you didn't need to bargain with me. You could have demanded every single week of the year. My brows knit together and he turned, already half consumed by the darkness. Every single week, and I would have said yes. That wasn't entirely a question, but I needed an answer. A half smile appeared on his sensual lips. I know, he said, and vanished. Bum, bum, bum. Okay. Oh, wow. Let's get another wheel spin. All right. Woo-wee. I can't believe that chapter was 42. Fucking Tamlin fucking up my favorite number. Can you believe that, y'all? Can you believe that? That fucking, ugh. Ooh, Jasad Air again. Welcome back, Em. Welcome back. Guys, Reese is super stressed for real. Bum, 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 bum. Let's see anything else. Lord Tamwad and his right fucking Tamwad's audacity, little bastardo. All right. Ooh, excuse me. Okay. Yeah, Em, what did you make for dinner tonight? What'd you make? You didn't post nothing in the cord. What's up with that? We're on 43 now. 40. Oh, we ain't got. I think this is when the chapters start flying. They're all short because we only got like 20 pages left. There's not much left. Y'all, we ain't got much left, y'all. Oh, snap. Lentil soup. Really? Lentil soup? Didn't we just read about lentils last night? Didn't we just do lentils we did lentils last night, didn't we? I mean, come on. Oh, that's funny. Too soon. Here you go. Fucking 7 here today. Yeah, I cannot wait till it gets cold and we can have chili and some white chicken chili again. Oh, some white chicken. Oh, I'm excited for some white chicken chili. Okay, sorry. All right, here we go. Chapter 43. Let's get into it. For my final task, I was given my old tunic and pants, stained and torn and reeking. But despite my stench, I kept my chin high as I was escorted to the throne room. Ladies and gentlemen, we need protection. All right. Here we go. All right. Here we go. Ham, greens, mac and cheese, biscuits. Ooh, that sounds good AF. All right. Does it get... It does. Trust me, it gets cold here. Yes, it does. It gets cold here, Ali. It does. All right. Here we go. All right. Third trial. This is where shit gets fun. The doors flung open and the silence in the room assaulted me. I waited for the jeers and the shouts, waited to see the gold flash and the onlookers place their bets. But this time the fairies just stared at me, the masked ones especially intent. Their world rested on my shoulders, Reese had said, but I didn't think I was worry alone that the spread across their features. I had to swallow hard. Oh, wait, did they know? Ooh, this is a whole different, aspect. No, okay. Oh, gestures had fallen farewell to the honor of the dead. There was nothing malicious about it. Most of these fairies belonged to the court of the High Lords, belonged to those courts long before Amaranth had seized their lands. And if Tamlin and Rhysand were playing games to keep us alive, I strode up the path they cleared, straight for Amarantha. The queen smiled when I stopped in front of their throne. Tamlin was in his place beside her, but I wouldn't look at him. Not yet. Is that really him, y'all? Is that really him? Hey, is that really him? Y'all know how we got that theory? You know how we got the theory? I'm just saying, is okay. So we know that's not, I mean, right there, that's not him. You know what I'm saying? You know how the theory of, you know what I mean? Because, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? DW, you know what I'm trying to say? Everybody's here has finished this story, right? Okay, so everybody's finished, like, everybody's like at least through Silver Flames. Like, I don't want to spoil nothing. Like, that's the biggest thing. Everybody's gone through Silver Flames. I believe everybody is through Silver Flames. I believe. I know you have. I know you have. I know you have. I know you have. You haven't read book 4 yet? What you got, babe? Oh, what did you do? Oh, okay. It's a work in process. I got you.
I know, but it looks crazy at a distance.
It does. It does. But you'll get it. You'll get it. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Nice. Okay. Okay. No, it's not. Okay. So you're on book 4, which is you're on Frost and Starlight, right? You're on Frost and Starlight. Okay. So I believe we can discuss it then, right? I believe so. Cuz everything, yeah. I believe so. Hang on, DW. I'm trying to play it out in my mind. I think we're good. Cuz that's there. And then there. Oh, I understand, Lady Jack. Yeah, no worries. And like I said, that's why I just want to make sure. I think we're good. Okay, so all I'm going to say is read the line. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm going to read the line again. Okay, so the line goes, I strode up the path and they cleared. Straight for Amarantha. The queen smiled when I stopped in front of her throne. Tamlin was in his usual place beside her. But I wouldn't look at him, not yet. Okay, so if you go with what that line is, there's a theory. There's a theory that goes with that right there. We can discuss later. Ooh, Lady Jack, you got to get Crescent City in for sure. Definitely got to get that one in. Ooh, Crescent City's amazing. Have to get that one in. Okay, moving on. 2 trials lie behind you, Amarantha said, picking a fleck of dust off her blood-red gown. Her hair shone, gleaming crimson river that threatened to swallow her golden crown. And only one more awaits. I wonder if it will be worse to fail now, when you're so close. She gave me a pout, and we both awaited the laughter of the fairies, but only a few laughed, hissed from the red-skinned guards. Everyone else remained silent, even Lucian's miserable brothers, even Rhysand, wherever he was in the crowd. I blinked to clear my burning eyes, perhaps like Rhysand, their oaths of allegiance and betting on my life and the nastiness had been shown, and perhaps now that end was imminent, they too would face my potential death with whatever dignity they had left. Ooh, oh my God, Crescent City. Ooh, yes. Yes. DW, you gonna try to hook her up and get her taken care of? Okay, I got you. I'm gonna keep reading. Y'all take care of this amazing woman. They gonna hook you up. Boop, 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 boop. All right, here we go. Moving on. Where was I? A blink, perhaps I had left behind. Amarantha glared at them. When her gaze fell upon me, she smiled broadly, sweetly. Any words to say before you die? I came up with a plethora of curses, but instead I looked at Tamlin. He didn't react. His features were like stone. I wish that I could glimpse his face, if only a moment. But all I needed were those green eyes. I can't say it. I can't say that. I can't say that. All right. Yeah, I love you. I said, no matter what. She said about, no matter if only for the insignificant human heart, even when they burn my body. I love you. My lips trembled and my vision clouded before several warm tears slipped down my chilled face. I didn't wipe them away. He didn't react. He didn't even grip the arms of his throne. I suppose that was his way of enduring it, even if it made my chest cave in, even if his silence killed me. Amarantha said sweetly, you'll be lucky, my darling, if we even have enough left of you to burn. I stared at her long and hard, and that's what she said, but her words were not met with jeers and smiles or applause from the crowd. Only silence. It was a gift that gave my courage, that made my brunch. Jonesy, what's up? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's Jonesy! Welcome, brother, welcome! I hope you had a good day, my friend. Thank you for stopping by as always. We appreciate you. You'll be lucky, my darling, if we have enough left of you to burn. I stared at her long and hard. That's what she said, but her words were not met with jeers or smiles or applause from the crowd. Only silence. It was a gift that gave me courage, that made my bunch my fists, that made me embrace the tattoo on my arm. I had beaten her until now, fairly or not, and I would not feel alone when I died. I would not die alone. It was all I could ask for. Amarantha propped her chin on a hand. You'll never figure out my riddle. You never figured out my riddle, did you, dumbass? It's the easiest riddle in the world, Farah. I didn't respond and smiled. Pity. The answer is so lovely. Oh my God! She even drops it. Oh my Jesus Christ! What are we talking about? What is this? Jonesy gonna jump in the Discord. Oh shit. Jonesy, watch out. They're feral in there, my brother. It's a wild world. Good luck. You might need a helmet. You good luck, brother. Good luck. Good luck. Woo, it's fun. It's wild. I love it. It's honestly anyway. Okay, that's crazy. I can't believe she actually said that though. The pity, the answer is so lovely. I can't believe she dropped that. Wow. That's... Missed that on the first read. Get it over with, I growled. Amarantha looked at Tamlin. No final words to her, he said quickly in an eyebrow. When he didn't respond, she grinned. Very well, then. She clapped her hands twice. The door swung open and 3 figures, 2 males and 1 female with brown sacks tied over her heads and dragged in by the guards. Their concealed faces turned away, and that they tried to discern the whispers that ripple across the throne. My knees bent slightly as they approached. With sharp jabs and burnt shoves, the red-skinned guards forced the 3 fairies to their knees at the foot of the dais, but facing me. Their bodies and clothes revealed nothing of who they were. Amarantha clapped her hands again, and the 3 servants clad in black appeared at the side of each of the kneeling fairies. In their long, pale hands, they each carried a dark velvet pillow. On each pillow lay a single, polished, wooden dagger. Not metal for a blade, but ash. Ash because your final task, Farah, Amarantha drawled, gesturing to the kneeling fairies. Stab each of these unfortunate souls. These poor unfortunate souls. Sorry, I had that little stem right there. I stared at her, my mouth opening and closing. They're innocent. Not that that should matter to you, she went on, since it wasn't a concern that day you killed Tamlin's poor sentinel, and it wasn't a concern for dear Jurian when he butchered my sister. But if it's a problem, well, you can always refuse. Of course, I'll take your life in exchange, but a bargain's a bargain, is it not? If you ask me, though, given your history with murdering our kind, I do believe I am offering you a gift. Refuse and die. Kill 3 innocent and live. 3 innocents for my own future, for my own happiness, for Tamlin and his court and the freedom of the entire land. The wood of the razor-sharp daggers had been polished so. The wood of the razor-sharp daggers had been polished so expertly that it gleamed beneath the colored glass. Wood? I didn't read that. Wood can, like, I know you can shine wood, but that shine. Okay. I'm sorry. I've never seen gleaming wood. I've seen like gleaming. Okay. I'm just saying. I'm sorry. All right. Anyway. Woo. Okay. Well, she lifted her hand, letting Jurian's eyes get a good look at me as the ash daggers and purred to it. I wouldn't want you to miss this, old friend. I couldn't do it. It wasn't like hunting. It wasn't for survival or defense. It was cold-blooded schmurder. The schmurder of them, of my very soul. But for Perinthian, for Tamlin, for all of them, for Alice and her boys. I wish I knew the name of the one forgotten gods that. Ooh, what is the one of their? Ooh, what is the name of the one forgotten god? What is the name of her forgotten god? Ooh, right? I've seen lacquered, but I still don't think like lacquered is gleamy. You know what I mean? But again, okay. What is the name of her forgotten god? You know, I wish I knew the name of the one forgotten gods, so I might begin to intercede them. Wish I knew of any prayers at the guidance to plead for absolution. But I don't know those prayers or the names of our forgotten gods, only the names of those who had remained enslaved if I did not act. I silently recited those names, even if the horror of what knelt before me began to swallow me whole. For Printhi, for Tamlin, for their world, for my own. These deaths would not be wasted, even if it would damn me for sure. I stepped up to the first kneeling figure. The longest and most brutal step I've ever taken. 3 lives in exchange for Perinthian's liberation. 3 lives that would not be spent in vain. I could do this. I could do this, even with Tamlin watching. I could make this sacrifice them. I could do this. My fingers trembled, but the first dagger wound up in my hand, and its hilt cold and smooth, the wood of the blade heavier than I expected. There were 3 daggers because she wanted me to feel the agony of reaching for that knife again and again. Wanted me to mean it. Not so fast, Amarantha chuckled, and the guard who held the first kneeling figure snatched the hood off its face. It was a handsome fey youth. I didn't know him. I'd never seen him, but his blue eyes were pleading. That's better, Amarantha said, waving her hand again. Proceed, Feyre, darling. Enjoy it. His eyes were the color of the sky I'd never seen again if I refused to kill him. A color I'd never get out of my mind, never forget, no matter how many times I painted it. I shook his head. He shook his head. Those eyes growing so large that the white showed all around. I would never see that sky either. And neither would these people if I failed. Please, he whispered, his focus darting between the ash dagger and my face. Please. The dagger shook between my fingers and I clenched it tighter. 3 fairies, that's all that stood between me and my freedom before Tamlin would be unleashed upon Amarantha if he could destroy her. Not in vain, I told myself, not in vain. Don't, the fairy youth begged when I lifted my dagger, don't! I took a grasping breath, my lips shaking as I quilled, saying, I'm sorry! It wasn't enough. I'd never been able to say it to Andreas, and now, please, he said, his eyes lined with silver. Something in the crowd began weeping. I was taking him away from someone who possibly loved him as much as I loved Tamlin. I couldn't think about it. I couldn't think about who he was, or the color of his eyes, or any of it. Amaranth was grimming with the wild, triumphant glee. Kill a fairy. Fall in love with a fairy, then be forced to kill a fairy to keep that love. It was brilliant and cruel, and she knew it. Darkness rippled near the throne, and then Rhysand was there, arms crossed as if he had moved better to see. His face was a mask of disinterest, but my hand tingled. Do it, the tingling said. Don't, the young fairy moaned, but I began shaking my head. I couldn't listen to him. I had to do it before he convinced me otherwise. Please! His voice rose in a shriek. Ah! The sound jarred me so much that I lunged with a raging sob. I plunged the dagger. Sorry. You go on, Jack. The blade curved around the flesh and the bones, smoothed as if it were real metal and not ash. And blood, hot and slick, showered on my hand. I wept, yanking out the dagger. The reverberations of his blood against the blade sting against his hand. His eyes, full of shock and hate, remained on me as he sagged, damning me. That person in the crowd let out a kneeling wail. My bloody dagger clicked on the marble floor as I stumbled back several steps. Very good, Amarantha said. I wanted to get out of my body. I had to escape the stain of what I'd done. I had to get out. I couldn't endure the blood on my hands, the sticky warmth between my fingers. Now, the next. Oh, don't look so miserable, Phala. Aren't you having fun? I faced the second figure, still hooded. A female this time. The fairy in black extended the pillow with the clean dagger, and the guards holding tore off her hood. His face was simple. Her hair was golden brown like mine. Tears were already rolling down her round cheeks. Her bronze eyes trickled my bloody hand as I reached for the second knife. The cleanness of the wooden blade mocked the blood on my fingers. I wanted to fall to my knees to beg her for forgiveness, to tell her that her death would be for naught. I wanted to, but there was such a rift running through me now that I could hardly feel my hands, my shredded heart. What have I done? Cauldron, save me, she began to whisper, her voice lovely and even, like music. Mother, hold me, she went on, reciting a prayer similar to the one that I had once heard before, when Tamlin eased the passing of that lesser fairy who died in the foyer, another one of Amaranth's victims. Guide me to you. I wasn't able to raise my dagger, unable to take a step that would close the distance between us. Let me pass through your gates. Let me smell that immortal land of milk and honey. Silent tears slid down my face and neck where they dampened the filthy collar of my tunic. As she spoke, I knew I would forever barred from that immortal land. I knew that whatever mother she meant would never embrace me. In saving Tamlin, I was to damn myself. I couldn't do this. I couldn't lift that dagger again. Let me fear no evil, she breathed, staring at me, into the soul that was cleaving itself apart. Let me feel no pain. A sob broke from my lips. I'm sorry, I moaned. Let me enter eternity, she breathed. I wept as I understood. Kill me now, she was saying. Do it fast. Don't make it hurt. Kill me now. Her bronze eyes were steady, if not sorrowfully. Infinitely worse than the pleading of the dead fairy beside her. I couldn't do it, but she held my gaze, and nodded. As I lifted the ash dagger, something inside me fractured so completely that there would be no hope of ever repairing it, no matter how many years had passed, no matter how many times I might try to paint her face. More fairies wailed now. Hey, tell Mama, are you trying to sneak some cat butt in? Are you trying? This is a very important part. You're trying to be all cat buddy. No, ma'am. Sorry, cat bud. Sorry. Oh, you're just. Come on. Out. Oh. Sorry, folks. It's her show now. It's her show. It's her show. You knocked Dylan over. Kind of like chapter 4. Wait. Sorry, didn't mean to say that. Spoilers. Sorry. Toe. Oh, toe. Only. A halftime show with the cat you know. Toe. Girlfriend. Girl, what are we doing? Oh my God. Hey, girlfriend. Ma'am. Family friendly show. Toe. And you're going to sit there and close your eyes on me? You're just going to sit there and close your eyes like that. Hey, no. Toe. I'm sorry. Thank you. Cat boy.
No, I'm covering it.
Oh my God. All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right, she's every part of me is family. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the cow. That was our only pause. That was our only pause break right there. Sorry for that. Toe was like, I needed money. I don't know. I'm sorry. Okay, where were we? Okay, I just want to say this much. It's kind of crazy how the male fairy was a little bitch in the. The fuck is that?
You wanted to wash your hands.
Thank you for the gift. Gotta clean my hands up.
I got you.
That was for all. That was for all the only pause. Thank you, thank you, Allie. That's hilarious. Woo! All right, there we go. I'll make sure she gets the money. Thank you for the corgi butt. Okay. Oh, corgi butt for all the cat butt. Oh, that gets you. DW corgis get you these. Do you know that? Well, what do you want? Corgis and better. Oh, I said it. Oh, shit. And then DW, tell me which book you would like your vote to go to. All right, back to this crap again. I couldn't do it. She held my gaze and nodded. As I lifted the ash dagger, something inside me fractured so completely there would be no hope of ever repairing it, no matter how many years passed, no matter how many times I tried to paint her face. More fairies wallowed now, her kinsmen and friends, the dagger in the weight of my hands shining coated with blood. That the first fairy, it would be more honorable to refuse to die rather than murder innocence. But, let me enter eternity, she repeated, lifting her chin. Fear no evil, she whispered, just for me, feel no pain. I gripped her delicate bony shoulder and drove that dagger into her heart. She gasped and the blood spilled on the ground like a splattering of a rain. Her eyes were closed when I looked at her face. She slumped to the floor and didn't move. I went somewhere far, far away from myself, the fairies now stirring, shifting, many whispering and weeping. I dropped the dagger and knocked the ash on the marble roaring between my ears. Why was Amaranth still smiling? With only one person left between myself and freedom, I glanced at Rhysand, but his attention was fixed upon Amarantha. One fairy, and then we were free. Oh, he is fucking ready. He is fucking ready to pounce. Just one more swing upon my arms, and maybe one more after that. Maybe one more swing up and inward into my own heart. It would be a relief to end it all by my own hand, a relief to die rather than to face this, what I've done. The fairy servant offered the last dagger, and I was about to reach for it when the guard removed the hood from the mail before me. My hands slackened at my side. The amber-flecked green eyes stared upon me. Everything came crashing down, layer upon layer, shattering and breaking and crumbling as I gazed at Tamlin. Bam! So quick. Bam! That'd have been me. This time. Sorry. My bad. I whipped my head to the throne beside Amarantha, still occurrence of my High Lord, as she laughed, as she snapped her fingers beside Tamlin, her transformed. The Tamlin beside her transformed into the ACOTAR, smiled wickedly at me. Oh, and if this would have been the first read, yahoo, man. That was. If you scroll back, you can find out what happened, but it wasn't live, unfortunately. Anyway, tricked, deceived by my own senses again, slowly my soul ripping further from me, I turned back to Tamlin. That was only guilt and sorrow in my eyes. I stumbled away, almost falling as I tripped over my feet. Something wrong? Amarantha asked, cocking her head. Not fair. I got out. Rhysand's face had gone pale, so pale. Fair? Amarantha mused, playing with Jurian's bone on her necklace. I wasn't aware that you humans knew the concept. You killed Tamlin and he's free. Her smile was the most hideous thing I'd ever seen. And then you can have him all to yourself. My mouth stopped working. Unless, Amarantha went on, You think it would be more appropriate to forfeit your life after all? What's the point? To survive only to lose him? Her words were like poison. Imagine all those years you were going to spend together, suddenly alone. Tragic, really. Though a few months ago you hated our kind enough to butcher us, surely you'll move on easily enough. She patted her ring. Jurian's human lover did. Still on his knees, Tamlin's eyes turned so bright, defiant. So, Amarantha said, but I didn't look at her. What will it be, Feyre? Kill him and save his court and my life? Or kill myself and let them all live as Amarantha's slave? Let her and the king of Hybern wage their final war against the human realm. There was no bargain to get out of this, no part of me to sell to avoid this choice. I stared at the ash dagger on the pillow. Alice had been right all those weeks ago. No human who ever came here walked out again. I was no exception. Still no exception. Definitely. If I were smart, I would indeed stab my own heart before they could grab me. At least I would die quickly. I wouldn't endure the torture that surely awaited me, possibly a fate like Jurian's. Alice had been right. But Alice had said something to help me. A final part of the curse. A part they couldn't tell me. A part that would aid me. And all she had been able to do was tell me to listen. To listen to what I'd heard, as if I'd already heard everything I needed. I slowly faced Tamlin again. Memories flashed one after another, blurs of color and words. Tamlin was the High Lord of the Spring Court. What did that do to help me? The Grey Riot was performed? No, he lied to me about everything. About why I'd been brought to the manor. About what had happened on the lands, the curse. He hadn't been allowed to tell me the truth. He hadn't exactly pretended that everything was fine. No, he'd lied and explained as best he could and made it painfully obvious to me at every turn that something was very, very wrong. The ACOTAR in the garden, as hidden from me as I was from it. But Tamlin had hidden me. He told me to stay put and then led the ACOTAR right toward me. Let me overhear them. He left the dining room doors open when he had spoken with Lucian about the curse, even if I hadn't realized it at the time. He'd spoken in public places. He wanted me to eavesdrop. Excuse me. Because he wanted me to know, to listen, because this knowledge. I ransacked each conversation, turning over words like stone, part of the curse I hadn't grasped. They couldn't explicitly tell me, but Tamlin had needed me to know. Milady makes no bargains that are not advantageous to her. She never killed what she desires most, not when she wanted Tamlin as much as I did. But if I killed him, she either knew I couldn't do it, or she was playing a very, very dangerous game. Conversation after conversation echoed in my memory until I heard Lucian's words and everything froze. But that was when I knew I couldn't breathe. Not as I replayed the memory. Not as I recalled the conversation I'd overheard one day. Lucian and Tamlin in the dining room, the door wide open for all to hear. For me to hear. For someone with a heart of stone, yours is certainly soft these days. I looked at Tamlin, my eyes flickering to his chest. Another memory flashed. The ACOTAR in the garden laughing. Though you have a heart of stone, Tamlin, the ACOTAR said, you certainly keep a host of fear inside. Amaranth would never risk killing me because she knew I couldn't kill him. Not if his heart couldn't be pierced by a blade. Not if his heart had been turned to stone. I scanned his face, searching for any glimmer of truth. There was only that bold rebellion in his gaze. Perhaps I was wrong. Perhaps it was just a fairy turn of phase. Just a fairy turn of phase. But all those times I'd held Tamlin, I never felt his heartbeat. I'd been blind to everything until it came back to smack me in the face. But not this time. That was how she controlled him and his magic. How she controlled all the High Lords, dominating and leashing them to just keep Jurian's soul tethered to that eye and bone. Trust no one, Alice had told me. But I trusted Tamlin. And the more that I trusted myself, I trusted that I had heard correctly, that I trusted that Tamlin had been smarter than Amarantha. I trusted that I had sacrificed was not in vain. To enter the room was silent. The entire room was silent, but my attention was upon Tamlin. The revelation that must have been clear on my face, for his breathing became a bit quicker, and he lifted his chin. I took a step toward him, then another. I was right. I had to be. I sucked in a breath and I grabbed the dagger off the outstretched pillow. I could be wrong. I could be painfully and tragically wrong. But there was the faint smile on Tamlin's lips as I stood over him, ash dagger in hand. There was such a thing as fate, because fate had made sure that had made sure I was there to eavesdrop when they had spoken in private. Because fate had whispered to Tamlin that cold, contrary girl he dragged to his home would be the one to break his spell. Because fate had kept me alive. That was Reese! Just to get to this point. Just to see if I was listening. And there he was, my High Lord, my beloved, kneeling before me. And I stabbed him! She said, I love you. And then I stabbed him in the heart! In the heart! I mean, I'm not mad. I'm not mad. All right. All right. DW, did you ever say what you wanted to? Did you ever say what you wanted your button on? Need to give lights out to DW. Lights out. Got it. All right. Damn, Jasad Air again is Chapter 44. Tamlin cried out as my blade pierced his flesh-breaking bone. For a sickening moment, when his blood rushed into my hand, I thought the ash dagger would go clean through him. But then there was a faint thud as the stinging reverberation in my hand as the dagger struck something hard and unyielding. Tamlin lurched forward, his face growing pale, and I yanked the dagger from his chest. As the blood drained away from the polished wood, I lifted the blade. Its tip had been nicked, turned inward on itself. Tamlin clutched his chest as he panted, the wound already healing. Rhysand at the foot of the dais grinned from ear to ear. Amarantha climbed to her feet. The fairies murmured one to each other. I dropped the blade, sending it clattering across the red marble. Kill her now. I wanted to bark at Tamlin, but he didn't move as he pushed his hand against the wound. Blood dripping out. Too slowly. He was healing. Too slowly. The mask didn't fall off. Kill her now. She won, someone in the crowd said. Free them, another echoed. But Amarantha's face blanched, her features contorting until she looked truly serpentine. I'll free them whenever I see fit. Feyre didn't specify when I had to free them, just that I had to at some point, perhaps when you're dead. She finished with a hateful smile. You assumed that when I said instantaneous freedom regarding the riddle, it applied to the trials too, didn't you, foolish, stupid human? I stepped back upon the descending of the steps of the dais. Her fingers curled into claws. Jurian's eye was going wild within the ring, his pupils dilated and shrinking. And you, she hissed at me, you! Her teeth gleamed, turning sharp. I'm going to kill you. Someone cried out, but I couldn't move, couldn't even try to get out of the way as something far more violent than lightning struck me and crashed to the floor. I'm going to make you pay for your insolence. Amarantha snarled, and a scream ravaged through my throat as pain like nothing that I had known erupted through me. My very bones were shattering as my body rose and slammed under the hard floor. I was crushing beneath another wave of torturous agonies. Admit you don't really love him and I'll spare your life. Amarantha breathed through my fractured vision and I saw her prowling toward me. Admit what a cowardly, lying, inconsistent bit of human garbage you are. Wait. DW, oh, am I waiting? Whoa! I paused, DW. Notes, DW, note that. Make notes about that, DW. Note that. Note it. We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later. Note it. Noted it. I'm picking up on what you're putting down. Oh, yeah. Admit that you really don't love him and I'll spare you. Oh, where were we? Sorry. And I'll spare you, Emperor, breathe. Admit that you're cowardly, lying, inconsistent bit of human garbage. I wouldn't say that if you splattered me across the ground. But if I was ripping apart from the inside out and thrashed upon, unable to scream out in pain, Pharaoh! Someone roared. Not someone. Rhysand. But Amarantha still neared. You think you're worthy of him? A high lord? You think you deserve anything at all? Human? My back arched, my ribs cracked one by one. Reread what I said was. She never heard it beat. She never heard it beat, but Elaine. I think I see what y'all are going with that. Rhysand yelled my name again. As he yelled it through, he cared. I blacked out. She brought me back, ensuring I felt everything, ensuring that I screamed every time a bone broke. What are you but mud and bones and worm meat? Amarantha raged. What are you compared to our kind? That you think you are worthy of us? Fairies begin calling foul play, demanding Tamlin to be released from the curse, calling her a cheating liar. Through their haze, I saw Rhysand crouching by Tamlin, not to help him, but grab the... You all are pigs, all scheming, filthy pigs. What's up, Larkin? What's up, Larkin? I sobbed between screams as her feet connected with my broken ribs again and again. Your mortal heart is nothing to us. Rhysand was on his feet, my bloody knife in his hands. He launched himself at Amarantha, swift as a shadow. The ash dagger aimed at her throat. She lifted a hand, not even bothering to look, and he was blasted back to the wall of white light. But a pain paused for a second, long enough for me to see him hit the ground and rise again, and lunge for her, with hands that now ended in talons. He slammed into the invisible wall Amaranth had raised around herself, and my pain flickered as she turned to him. You traitorous piece of filth, she seized at Rhysand. You're just as bad as these human beasts. One by one, as if hands were raised, shoving in them, the talons pushed back into his skin, leaving blood in their wake. He swore low and vicious. We were planning this. You were planning this all along. Her magic sent him sprawling, and then it hurled into Rhysand again, so hard that his head cracked against the stones and the knife dropping from his blade fingers. No one made a move to help him, and stuck him once more with the power. The red marble splintered him with the hitter, spiderwebbing towards me. With the wave after wave, she hit him. Rhys groaned. Thank you for the gifts. Please. Rhysand's arms buckled as he fought to rise, and blood dripped from his nose, splattered on the marble. His eyes met mine. The bond between us was taut. Which one? I flashed between my body and him, seeing through his eyes, bleeding and broken and sobbing. I snapped back into my own mind as Amarantha turned to me. Stop, stop! Don't pretend you care, human, she groaned, curling her fingers. I arched my back, my spine straining to the point of crackling, and Rhysand bellowed my name as I lost my grip on the room. The emotions began, a contemplation of the worst moments of my life, a storybook of despair and darkness. The final page that came, and I wept, not entirely feeling the agony of my body as I saw that young rabbit bleeding in the forest clearing. My knife through her throat. My first kill. The first life I'd taken. I'd been starving, desperate, yet afterward, once my family had devoured it, I had crept back to the woods and wept for hours, knowing a line had been crossed. My soul stained. Say that you don't love him! Amarantha shrieked, and the blood on my hands came to blood of that rabbit. Became what blood of what I had lost. But I wouldn't say it, because loving Tamlin was the only thing that I had left, the only thing that I couldn't sacrifice. And the blood cleared through the red and black vision. I found Tamlin's eyes as wide as he crawled through Amarantha, watching me die. I am unable to save me while his wound slowly healed. while he still gripped his power. Amarantha had never intended for me to live, never intended to let him go. Amarantha, stop this, Tamlin begged at her feet as he clutched his gaping wound in his chest. Stop. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what I said about Celia all those years ago. Please. Amarantha ignored him, but I couldn't look away. Tamlin's eyes were so green, green like the meadow of his estate, a shade that washed away. The memories flooding through me, they pushed aside the evil, breaking me apart bone by bone. I screamed again as my kneecaps stained, threatening to crack into two. But I saw that enchanted forest, saw that afternoon we laid in the grass, saw the morning we watched the sunrise for a moment, just a moment. I'd known true happiness. Say that you don't love him, Amarantha spat, and my body twisted, breaking it bit by bit. Admit to your inconsistent heart. Amarantha, please, Tamlin moaned, his blood spilling onto the floor. I'll do anything. I'll deal with you later, she snarled at him, and sending me falling into a fiery pit of pain, a fiery pit of pain. I would never say it, never let her hear it, even if she killed me. And if it was to be my downfall, so be it. It would be the weakness that would break me. I would embrace it with all my heart. If this was, for the thought of each of my strikes lands a powerful blow. When I kill, I do it slow. That's what these last 3 months have been. A slow, horrible death. What I felt for Tamlin was the cause of this. There was no cure, no pain, or absence, or happiness. But scorn. I became a difficult beast to defeat. She could torture me all she liked, but I would never destroy what I felt for him. It would never make Tamlin want her, never easing the sting of this rejection. The world became dark at the borders of my vision, taking the edge of the pain. But I bless all those who are brave enough to dare. For so long I had to run from it, but opening myself to him, to my sisters, that it had been a test of bravery, of harrowing of my trials. Say it, you vile beast, Amaranth hissed. She might have lied her way out of the bargain, but she swore differently with the riddle. Instantaneous freedom regardless of her will. Blood filled my mouth, warmed as it dribbled out between my lips. I gazed at Tamlin's face, masked. I gazed at Tamlin's why? I gazed at Tamlin's masked face one last time. Love, I breathed, the word crumbling into blackness with no end. A pause in Amarantha's magic. The answer to the riddle. I got out choking on my own blood. Is love. Something in Tamlin's eyes went white before forever cracked in my spine. Bum, bum, bum. Ah! My girl going through it. Honey pots. Yeah. All right. Ooh, Reese's Puffs are yummy. Oh, I'm pacing eating emotional support / you're epic. That is so funny. That's funny. Oh, okay. All right. I need to get a snack. I keep forgetting there were spicy chips, not regular. Oh, the part in use your ears. She never heard. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I read the wrong line. I got you. I got you. Was use her ears. I gotcha. I gotcha. All right. Here we go. Chapter 45. I was far away, but still seeing through the eyes that weren't mine. Eyes attached to the person whose face rose from his position on the cracked, bloodied floor. Amarantha's face slackened. There was my body, prostrate on the ground. My head snapped to one side at a horribly wrong angle. A flash of red hair in the crowd. Lucian, tears shone in Lucian's remaining eye as he raised his hands and removed his fox mask. The brutality-scarred face beneath was still handsome, his features sharp and elegant. But my host was looking at Tamlin now, who slowly faced my dead body. Tamlin's still masked face twisted into something truly lupine as he raised his eyes to the queen and snarled, fangs lengthening. Amaranth backed away from my corpse. She only whispered, "Please," before the golden light exploded. The queen was blasted back, thrown against the far wall, and Tamlin let out a roar that shook the mountain as he launched himself at her. He shifted his beast form faster than I could see, furs and claws, pound upon pound of lethal muscle. She had no sooner hit the wall than he had gripped her neck, and stones cracked as he shoved her against with a clawed paw. She thrashed but could do nothing against the brutal onslaught of Tamlin's beast. Blood ran down his furred arm where she scratched. The ACOTAR and the guards rushed for the queen, but several fairies and high fae, their masks clattering to the ground, jumped in their path, tackling them. Amarantha screeches, "Ah!" kicking at Tamlin, lashing at him with her dark magic, but a wall of gold encompassed his fur like a second skin. She couldn't touch him. "Tam!" Lucian cried out over the chaos. Yeah, I said it like that. A sword huddled through the air, a shooting star of steel. Tamlin caught in a massive paw. Amarantha's scream was cut short as he drove the sword through her head and into the stone beneath. Then he closed his powerful jaws around her throat and ripped it out. Silence fell. It wasn't until that I was again staring down at my own broken body that I realized those eyes I'd been seeing through. But Rhysand, he didn't come any closer to my corpse. Not as rushing paws, then a flash of light, then footsteps filled the air. The beast was already gone. Amarantha's blood had vanished from his face as his tunic, his talons slammed to his knees. He scooped up my limb, broken body, cradling me to his chest. He hadn't removed his mask, but I saw the tears that fell onto my filthy tunic, and I had heard the shuddering sobs that broke him as he rocked me and stroked my hair. "No," someone breathed. Lucian, his sword dangling from his hand. Indeed, there were many fae, high fae, and fairies who watched with damp eyes as Tamlin held me. Don't make me feel bad. Are we talking about, you talking about Amaranth's blood? Is that who you're talking about? Are we talking about Amaranth's blood? Is that what we're talking about? Is that what we're asking? Did I miss that? Blood ran down. Blood ran down his furred arm where she'd scratched. That's his blood. I see what you're saying. Okay. I mean, it just says Amar. Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. Lucian dangled from his hand. Indeed, there were many high fae and fairies who watched as Tamlin's damp eyes held me. I wanted to get to Tamlin. I wanted to touch him, to beg for forgiveness for what I had done, for the other bodies on the floor. But I was so far away. Someone appeared beside Lucian, a tall, handsome, brown-haired man with his face similar to his own. Lucian didn't look like his father, though. Well, you know, he stiffened as his High Lord of the Autumn Court approached Tamlin and extended a clench of his hand to him. Tamlin glanced up only when the High Lord opened his fingers and tipped over his hand. A glittering spark fell upon me. It flared and vanished as it touched my chest. Two more figures approached, both handsome and young. Though the host's eyes, I knew them instantly. The brown-skinned one on the left wore a tunic of blue and green, and atop his white blonde head was a garland of roses, the High Lord of the Summer Court. His pale-skinned companion, clad in colors of white and gray, possessed a crown of shimmering ice, the High Lord of the Winter Court. Chins raised, shoulder back, they too dropped those glittering kernels upon me, and Tamlin bowed his head in gratitude. Another High Lord approached, and bestowing upon me dropping of light and glowed the brightest of them all. From his gold and ruby raiment, I hate when they put words on half a line. Sorry, I knew him to be the High Lord of the Dawn Court, and then the High Lord of the Day Court, clad in white and gold, his dark skin gleaming with inner light, present his similar gift, and smiled sadly at Tamlin before he walked away. Rhysand stepped forward, bringing my shred of soul with him, and I found Tamlin staring at me, at us, for what she gave, Rhysand said, extending a hand. We'll bestow what our predecessors have granted to few before. He paused. This makes us even, he added. And then I felt a tingle of humor as he opened his hand and let the seed of light fall on me. That's not the only seed he's going to put on you. Tamlin tenderly brushed aside my matted hair. His hand glowed bright as the rising sun. In the center of his palm, a strange sighting bud formed. I love you, he whispered, and kissed me as he laid his hand upon my heart. I ain't gonna lie, that's pretty beautiful right there, guys. Fucking, They're not even. They're not. Oh, God, what was that? No! No! No, I don't want to push that. God!
I'm Jude Barlow.
And I'm Jonas, and we have a song for you.
Ooh, all right, 45. Here we go. I was far away, but seeing through the eyes that weren't mine. Eyes attached to the person who slowly rose from his position on the cracked, bloodied floor. Amarantha's face slackened. There was my body. Wait, did I just yet? No. Prostrate on the ground. Head snapped to one side. Angle horror. Did I just read that page? I just read that. I just read that chapter. I was about to read that chapter again. Holy crapola. What are y'all talking? What are y'all talking? Vintage purple. It is a good chapter. It is a good chapter. You're not wrong, DW. Chapter 46. Third reread already? What? Harry, what are you doing? He didn't mean to. He's sorry. He's sorry. Allie Grace, here. Allie Grace, this one's from Harry. That's what he really wanted to say. That's what he's trying to say. That's what you're saying. All right, 46. And to Harry. Everything was black and warm and thick, inky, but bordered with gold. I was swimming, kicking for the surface where Tamlin was waiting, where life was waiting. Up and up, frantic for air. The golden light grew and the darkness became like sparkling wine, easier to swim through. The bubbling fizzes around me, and I gasped for air, flooding my throat. I was lying on the cold floor. No pain, no blood, no broken bones. I blinked. A chandelier danged above me. I never noticed how intricate the crystals were, how the hushed gaps of the crowd echoed off them. A crowd, meaning I was still in the throne room, meaning I truly wasn't dead, meaning I had killed those. The room spun. I groaned as I braced my hand against the floor, readying myself to stand, but the sight of my skin stopped me cold. It gleamed with a strange light. My fingers seemed longer. I laid them on the flat marble. I pushed to my feet. I felt strong and fast and sleek, and I'd become a high fae. I went rigid as I sensed Tamlin standing behind me, smelled that rain and spring meadow scent of him richer than I'd ever noticed. I couldn't turn around to look at him. I couldn't move. A high fae, a mortal. What had they done? I could hear Tamlin holding his breath, hear as he loosed it. Hear the breathing, the whispering and weeping, and the quiet celebration of everyone in the hall still watching us, watching me, some chanting praise for the glorious power of the High Lords. It was the only way we could save you, Tamlin said softly. But then I looked at the wall. My hand rose to my throat. I forgot about the stunned crowd entirely. There, beneath Claire's decayed body, was Amarantha, her mouth gaping as the sword protruded from her brow, her throat gone and blood now soaked in front of her gown. Amarantha was gone. They were free. I was free. Tamlin was. Amarantha was dead, and I had killed those two high fae. I shook my head slowly. Are you? My voice sounded too loud in my ears, and I pushed back against the wall of the black that threatened to swallow me. Amarantha was dead. See for yourself, I said. I kept my eyes on the ground as I turned. There on the marble floor lay a golden mask staring at me with its hollow eye holes. Feyre, Tamlin said, as he cupped my chin between his fingers, gently lifting my face. I saw that familiar chin first, then my mouth, and then he was exactly how I dreamed he would be. Be nice. He smiled at me, his entire face lit with quiet joy that I had come to love so dearly, and he brushed my hair aside. I savored the feel of his fingers on my skin and raised my own to touch his face, to trace the contours of those high cheekbones, that lovely, straight nose, that clear, broad brow, the slightly arching eyebrows that framed his green eyes. What had I done to get this moment to be standing here? I shoved against the thought again. In a moment, in a minute, in an hour, in a day, I would think about that, force myself to face it. I put my hand on Tamlin's heart. A steady beat echoed in my bones. I sat on the edge of the bed, and while I thought of being an immortal meant a higher pain threshold and faster healing, I winced a good deal as Tamlin inspected my few remaining wounds, then healed them. We scarcely had a moment alone in the hours that followed Amarantha's death, that followed what I had done with those two fairies. But now, in this quiet room, I couldn't look away from the truth that sounded in my head with each breath. I killed them, slaughtered them. I haven't even seen their bodies being taken away, for it had been chaos in the throne room in the moments after I'd awakened. The ACOTAR and the nastier fairies had disappeared instantly, along with Lucian's brothers, which was a clever move, as Lucian wasn't the only fairy with the score to settle. No sign of Rhysand either. Some fairies had fled, while others had burst into celebration, and others just stood or paced, eyes distant, faces pale, as if they too didn't quite feel like this was real. One by one, crowding in, weeping and laughing with joy, the high fae and the fairies of the spring court knelt and embraced or kissed Tamlin, thanking him, thanking me. I kept far back that I would only nod, because I had no words to offer them in exchange for their gratitude, the gratitude for the fairies that I'd butchered to save them. Then there had been the meeting in the frenzied throne room, quick, tense meeting with the High Lord Tamlin was allied with and sort out the next steps. Then with Lucian and some spring court high fae who introduced themselves as Tamlin's sentries. But every word, every breath was too loud, every smell too strong, the light too bright, keeping still throughout. It was easier than moving, than adjusting to the strange body that was now mine. I couldn't even touch my hair without the slight difference in my fingers jarring me. On and on until every newly heightened sense was chafing and raw, and Tamlin at last noticed my dull eyes, my silence, and took my arm. He escorted me through the labyrinth of tunnels and hallways until we found a quiet bedroom in the distant wing of the court. Feyre, Tamlin said now, looking up from the inspections of my bare leg. It had been so accustomed to the mask that his handsome face surprised me each time I beheld it. Reese she doesn't know yet. She's just gone. He's just chilling out right now. This was what I had murdered all those fairies for. Their deaths had not been in vain. And yet, the blood on me had been gone now. I'd awoken, as if becoming immortal and surviving, if somehow earned me the right to wash their blood off me. What is this? I said. My voice was quiet, hollow. I should try to sound more cheerful for him, for what had just happened. But he gave me a half smile. Had he been human, he might have been in his late 20s, but he wasn't human, and neither was I. I wasn't certain whether that was happy thought or not. Excuse me. It was one of my smallest concerns. I should be begging for his forgiveness, begging the families and friends of those fairies for their forgiveness. I should be on my knees weeping for the shame for all that I had done. Feyre, he said again, lowering my leg to stand between my knees. He caressed my cheek with a knuckle. How can I ever repay you for what you did? You don't need to, I said. Let that be that. Let that dark, dank cell fade away, and Amarantha's face forever disappear from my memory. Even if those two dead fairies, even if their faces would never fade for me, if I could ever bring myself to paint again, I would never be able to stop seeing those faces instead of colors and light. Tamlin held my face in his hand, leaning closer, and then released me from the grasp of my left arm. His brows narrowed as he studied the markings. Gotta get the next. Where's the next page? I can't get the page to turn. There we go. The markings, Feyre. I don't want to talk about it, I mumbled. The bargain I had with Rhysand. Another small concern compared to the stain on my soul. The pit inside it. But I don't doubt that I'd see Rhys again soon. Tamlin's fingers traced the marks of my tattoos. We'll find a way out of this. No, you won't, he murmured, and his hand traveled up my arms to the rest of my shoulder. He opened his mouth, and I knew what he would say. The subject he would try to broach. I couldn't talk about that, about them, not yet. So I breathed. Later. And hooked my feet around his legs, drawing him closer. I placed my hands on his chest, feeling my heart breathing. Feeling my heart beating beneath. This. I needed this. Right now. I would wash away what I had done, but I needed him. Near. I needed to smell and taste him. Remind myself that this was real. This was real. Later, he echoed, and leaned down to kiss me. It was soft, tentative. Nothing like the wild, hard kiss we shared in the hall of the throne room. He brushed his lips against mine. Again, I didn't want to apologize. I don't want sympathy or coddling. I gripped the front of his tunic, tugging him closer as I opened my mouth to him. He let out a low growl, and the sound of it sent a wildfire blazing through me, pooling and burning in my core. I let it burn through the hole in my chest, my soul. Let it raise through the wave of black that was starting to press around me. Let it consume the phantom blood I could feel on my hands. I gave myself to that fire, to him, as his hand roved across me, unbuttoning as he went. I pulled back, breaking the kiss to his face. His eyes were bright, hungry, but his hands had stopped exploring and rested firmly on my hips. With a predator stillness, he waited and watched as I traced the contour of his face. I kissed every place I touched. His ragged breathing was the only sound. His hands soon began roaming across my back and sides, caressing and teasing and bearing me to him. While traveling, his fingers reached his his mouth, but he bit down on one, sucking into his mouth. It didn't hurt, but the bite was hard enough for me to meet his eyes again, to realize he was done waiting, and so was I. Where's the skip button? That's funny. Ah. He eased me onto the bed, murmuring my name against his neck, the shell of my ears tipped to the fingers. I urged him harder. I urged him faster, harder. His mouth explored the curve of the inside of my thighs. A kiss for each day we spent apart. A kiss for each wound and terror. A kiss for the ink etched of my flesh, for all those days we would be together after this. Days, perhaps that I no longer deserved. But I gave myself again to that fire, throwing myself into it, into him, and let myself burn. We got some fair as fucking. Woo-hoo-hoo. Sorry. I was pulled from my sleep by something tugging at my middle. A thread deep inside. A thread deep. I was pulled from my sleep. A thread deep inside. I left Tamlin sleeping in his bed. Fucking left him somewhere else, like in a fucking garbage dump. Sorry, digressing. I don't mean that. He could be a good guy. I don't know. Piece of shit. Sorry. Marking my book. All right, here we go. I left Tamlin sleeping in his bed under a heavy exhaustion. In a few hours, he would be leaving under the mountain and returning home. I didn't want to wake him sooner than I had to. I prayed I would ever get to sleep that peacefully again. Deep inside is always good. Tamlin is the Cybertruck of the High Lords. That's kind of funny. That's kind of funny. I left Tamlin sleeping in his bed. The High Lord with exhaustion. In a few hours, we'd be leaving under the mountain and returning home. I didn't want to wake him sooner than I had to. So courteous of him after you saved his ass. I prayed I would never get to sleep that peacefully again. I knew who summoned me long before I opened the door to the hall and patted down, stumbling and tearing or everything now. And then, as I slowly adjusted to my new body, its new balance and rhythms, I carefully, slowly took the narrow set of stairs upward, up and up, until, to my shock, a trickle of sunlight poured into the stairwell. I found myself on a small balcony jutting out of the side of the mountain. I hissed against the brightness, shielding my eyes. The thought of what was in the middle of the night. I completely lost all senses of the time and the darkness on the mountain. Rhysand chuckled softly from where I could vaguely make him out, standing along the stone rail. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. No, this is Patrick. Well, thank you for the follow, Patrick. Okay, here we go. I know what's coming. Sorry, folks. Rhysand chuckled softly from where I could vaguely make out and standing along. I forgot it's been a while for you. My eyes stung from the light. I remained silent, and I could look at the view without a shooting pain going through my head. A land of violent snow-capped mountains greeted me, but the rock of this mountain was brown and bare. Not even a blade of grass or crystal ice gleamed on it. I looked at him finally. His membranous wings were out, tucked behind him, but his hands and feet were normal. Not talons in sight. What do you want? It didn't come out with the snap that I intended. Not as I remembered how he fought again and again to attack Amaranth to save me. Yeah, he fought to attack Amaranth to save me, you know what I'm saying? As somebody else just kind of fucking sat there. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking dog, mother, shit. Fucking, sorry. I'm digressing. My bad. Just to say goodbye, a warm breeze ruffled his hair, brushing tendrils of darkness in his shoulders. Before your beloved whisks you away. Forever. Not forever, I said, wiggling my tattooed fingers for him to see. Don't you get a week every month? Those words, thankfully, came out a frost day. You know! You fucking know! Rhysand smiled slightly. His wings rustled and settled. How could I forget? I stared at the nose and I'd seen bleeding only hours before. His violet eyes had been so filled with pain. Why? I asked. He knew what I meant and shrugged. Because when the legends get written, I didn't want to be remembered for standing on the sidelines. I want my future offspring to know that I was there, that I fought against her at the end, even if I couldn't do anything useful. I blinked this time at the brightness of the sun, because when he went on, his eyes locked with mine. I didn't want you to fight alone or die alone. This whole fucking speech, Reese. This whole fucking speech, you got me re-looking at shit. You got me this whole fucking speech, my guy. Ah, damn it. I want my future offspring. I blinked because he went on. I didn't want you to fight alone or die. And for that moment, I remembered the fairy who died in our foyer and how I told Tamlin the same thing. Thank you, I said in my throat. Reese flashed a grin that didn't quite reach his eyes. I doubt you'll be saying that when I take you to the night court, or she'll be screaming some other things. Just give her time. I doubt. I didn't bother to reply as I turned towards the view. The mountains went on and on, gleaming and shadowing in a vast open and clear. For nothing in me stirred. Nothing catalogued the light and colors. Are you going to fly home? I said. A soft laugh. Unfortunately, it would take too long. It would take longer than I can afford. Another day, and I'll taste the sky again. I glanced at the wings tucked in his powerful body, and my voice was hoarse as I spoke. You never told me you loved the wings, or the flying. No, he made his shape-shifting seem based, useless, boring. He shrugged. Everything I love has always had a tendency to be taken from me. I tell very few about the wings or the flying. I had some colors already come in that moon-white face, and I had wondered whether he might have once been 10 before Amaranth had kept him below ground for so long. Oh, thank you for the gifts. Welcome, Caroline. Welcome. I appreciate you stopping by again. The colors, I wondered whether, I wonder whether he might have once been 10 before Amaranth had kept him below ground for so long. A high lord who loves to fly, trapped under a mountain. Shadows not his own, making still haunted those violet eyes. I wondered if they'd ever fade. How does it feel to be a high fae? He asked, quiet and curious. I looked out towards the mountain again, considering, and maybe it was because there was no one else to hear. Maybe it was because the shadow of his eyes was also forever be in mine. But I said, Am I immortal? Who has been mortal? This body. I looked down at my hands so clean and shining, a mockery of what I'd done. This body is different, but this... I put my hands on my chest, my heart. This is still human. Maybe it will always be, and it will have been easier to live with it. My throat welled. Easier to live with what I did if my heart had changed too. Maybe I wouldn't care so much. Maybe I could convince myself their deaths weren't in vain. Maybe immortality will take that away. I can't tell whether I want it or not. Whether I want it to. Sorry. I can't tell whether I want it to. Reese stared at me for long enough that I faced him. Be glad of your human heart, Feyre. Pity those who don't feel anything at all. I couldn't explain about the hole that had already formed in my soul. Didn't want to, so I just nodded. Well, goodbye for now, he said, rolling his neck if he hadn't been talking about anything important at all. I bowed at the waist. He bowed at the waist. Those wings vanished entirely, and he'd begun to fade into the nearest shadow when he went rigid. Oh, he went rigid, folks! That right there, luck a duck motherfucker, and began to fade into the nearest shadow when he went rigid. His eyes locked onto mine. Wide and wild, his nostrils flared. Shock, pure shock flashed across his features at whatever he saw in my face, and stumbled backward a step. Actually stumbled. Dun, dun, dun!
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm!
What is it? I began. He disappeared. Simply disappeared. Not a shadow in sight. Into the crisp air. Tamlin and I left the way I'd come in, through the narrow cave in the belly of the mountain, before departing the high fae of several courts destroyed and then sealed Amaranthus court under the mountain. We were the last to leave, and with a wave of Tamlin's arms, the entrance to the court crumbled behind us. I still didn't have the words to ask what they had done with those two fairies. Maybe someday, maybe soon, I would ask where they were, what their names had been. Amarantha's body, I heard, had been hauled off to be burned. The Ujurian's bones and eyes were somehow missing. As much as I wanted to hate her, as much as I wish I could have spat on her burning body, I understood what had been driven her. A very small part of me had understood it. Tamlin gripped my hand as we strode into the darkness. Neither of us said anything. When he glimmered and upon the sunlight appeared, standing in the damp cave walls in the silvery sheen. But our step quickened as the sunlight grew brighter and the cave warmer. Then the both of us emerged onto the spring greens, grass that covered the bumps, the hollows of his lands. Our lands. The breeze and the scents of the wildflowers hit me, and despite the hole in my chest, the stain on my soul, I couldn't stop the smile that spread as we mounted a steep hill. My fairy legs were far stronger than my human ones. When we reached the top of the knoll, I wasn't nearly as winded as I might have once been. But the breath was knocked from my chest when I beheld the rose-covered manor. Home. In all my imagining in Amarantha's dungeons, I never allowed myself to think of this moment, never allowed myself to dream that outrageousness. But I made it. I brought us both home. I squeezed his hand as we gazed down at the manor with the stables and the gardens, the two sets of childish laughter, true, free laughter, coming from somewhere inside the grounds. A moment later, two small shining figures darted to the field beyond the gardens, shrieking as they were chased by a taller, chuckling figure. Alice and her boys, safe, out of hiding, at last. We can move Jack out of the way. You're not in the view either. Okay. Tamlin slipped his arm around my shoulder, tucking me close to him. He rested his cheeks on my head. My lips trembled and wrapped my arm around his waist. See, you can't see you. He stood atop the hill in silence until the setting sun guided the house and the hills and the world of Lucian called us to dinner. I stepped out of Tamlin's arms and kissed him softly. Tomorrow. There would be tomorrow. And an eternity to face what I had done, to face what I had shredded into pieces inside myself while under the mountain. But for now, for today, let's go home, I said, and I took his hand.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Tamlin, you don't deserve her. All right, Lady Jack, thank you for coming. Thank you for stopping by and being our friend. Ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful, amazing, beautiful, wisest wife. Oh, thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follows. Woo!
Hi, Ashley.
Man.
Hope all is well.
Oh,
that was the
ooh,
end.
thank you for the gifts.
That's cool.
Woo, a little party. We got a heart hands and has some confetti. Ooh, hang on. I got to get the one more button. All right, let's hope it's not a Tamlin button on the last one for that book, right? Oh my Lord. Woo. Thank you, Cadzilla. Hopefully we will see you next time. Absolutely. I'm so glad you came. Absolutely. That's what she said. Oh, we got a... Ooh, here you go. Don't leave without a... Yeah, just write 20 above the book, and then we'll put one tick mark for the one. You see what I'm saying? All right. Well, we did it, folks. We did it. That was our first official reread, and look what we did. Look at that. Excuse me. We got some tab. We got lots of theories to talk about. Holy crikeys. That was amazing. Okay. Really quick. I I appreciate it. There's more I got to do because I didn't get a tab when we was reading live. You know what I'm saying? So that's not bad for just by myself. You know what I mean? And seriously, think about this, y'all. Like really quick. You know, the first time I read this book, it took me. Hang on. Let's review the chapters. Let's go back. It took me. There's what 46 chapters. Took me 46 days to read this book. The first time I read it, it took me 9. It took us 9 this time. It's so crazy, right?
In the video earlier, I couldn't figure out. First they said last 5 chapters, then I thought, was it 8 chapters?
It was 6. Yeah. You're tabbing? Okay, because that's just how long they are. So that's just how long. Like, I take the tab.
He just sticks the sticky part on the book. He doesn't stick it further back.
No, I put it right up next to the words, and then I will write on. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's how it's done. I'm sorry.
That's not how it's done. That's how you do it.
It's how it's done. I did it.
You did it.
It's my tabs. It's been done. It's how it's done. I'm not trimming my tabs because I will put notes. So eventually, like I said, remember I told you when I'm going to do my cross references is to like once I make all these yellow ones are examples that have to be cross referenced to later on in the story. So I have to on that it will be cross reference C1 like chart 1 whatever. It'll be able to it makes sense in my head. I'm sorry, but anyway, everybody, we did it. Get ready. We'll be back tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Because tomorrow we get to start A Court of Mist and Fury. That's right. Tomorrow, A Court of Mist and Fury. And that's where this shit really gets good. I'm not going to lie. That's where that book, that's where this series. Yes, we are going tomorrow night, which is actually a regular reading time. These Tuesdays are just a little special time. That we're doing while we do this reread and for special stories when we have a lot going on. But yes, we will be back tomorrow night. We are starting ACOMAF. So hopefully you will be able to join us. We have, actually, Miss Hyde, you are new and you just followed us. So by being a new follower, we have this little thing that we've started doing. You get to pick a button. So if you pick a number between 1 and 14, not 3. 3 is not a good number. Do not pick 3. But between 1 and 14, we'll play you a little treat button. And we will do that. 11, 14, 13, 11. No, I'm starting on the live.
No, I meant on Thursday. Not
That's
tomorrow.
Thursday. I don't know yet. That's Thursday. Because
No, tomorrow is Wednesday.
I understand. That's why I'm starting reading live tomorrow night. On Thursday, I will decide then. Oh, that's why I said I'll decide then. Because last time we didn't do Thursday, and I asked if we wanted to do reading or talk theories because we've got some people. So I don't know. So we're gonna go with what the group wants to do.
Yeah.
If they want to discuss theories, then we will do theories. If we want to do some more reading, then we will do some more reading on Thursday. It's kind of what the group really wants. Yes, 99% of our start times during the week will be at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, Texas time. That's where we're at. So we will be there. Okay, really quick, I am trying to get everybody else. Okay, for the names that I call out, you also, I don't think I've ever said, hey, you get to pick a special button. So, Caroline, I don't think I've ever given you a choice of a button. So, please pick a button. I don't think I've ever let them have a button either. Miss Hyde is new, Larkin is new, and Stone and Starter. So, if I announced your name, Caroline, Caroline Reed / DW, Larkin, Miss Hyde, and Stone and Starter. If you all name a button, I will. Ooh, she even knows. Oh, she got the button memorized. I love that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She's got it. So, do you have a? If anybody hasn't.
Aw.
Thank you for the. That was awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate the gifts.
That's the little ghosty guy.
They were so cool.
That was cool.
So the buttons, if you have like we got basically a, how would you describe it?
Favorite book boyfriend.
A book boyfriend or girlfriend. And I have them broken down into like hair colors is how we kind of have it broken down. And then we have a few standoffish, which are based off of a few characters
So
that.
we had book baddies and book bros.
Yeah, book baddies and book bros. And then we've got some famous couple. We got a famous couple, a buzzard.
Azrael's Larkin's baby. I think we could accommodate that request.
$111, that's right. And she said
Carolina got
7. Yeah, 7.
And then Larkin, like Azrael. And you
She said, I don't have an ass butt. I understand he's the shadow guy. That's all I was like, but we don't have much of him right now. You know what? Here, I tell you what. We're just gonna go out. So we finish the book. I tell you what. Let's just do this. Let's just do this. Let's just make it easy, y'all. Let's just make it all. This is number 1, everybody. So this way, you know what buttons if you want to pick them out. Number 1. Until I move along.
Sometimes you show for some. Yeah. Also, I think that was.
What is that? I don't know what's going on. You didn't think what was what?
Rune Dannon, Crown Prince of the Valbars.
Because it's on a different page. Animals and this is number 2. It's because I've had to move them to other pages. So Rune is the first number on this page. So Rune is right here. Okay? So Rune is here.
Chode Barlow.
That's the Chodes.
I'm Jonas,
3.
and we have a song for you.
And then it flips the page and the animals are down here. You see what I'm saying? So Rune is still number 1.
The animals are just the last button of the previous page.
Yeah. So. It's the only reason why. Because I spend more time on this page. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 5. This one's 5.
It's on one show, but
I'm just Yes, Larkin, Riddick is 6. That is correct. A 7, a Shadow Daddy. Let's just get it real. This might be everyone's favorite button, and she's coming over every time. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, this one is a number 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm sorry, that was 8. The buzzard is 9. Okay, sorry. I was mistaken. Yes, the Shadow Daddies was 8. A buzzard is 9. This is 10.
You can't make those jumps. You cannot make those jumps. You can't make those jumps.
Yeah. He didn't play Sunball? Was he any good? Was he any good?
The wolf thing.
The way the joke is writing so. Brothers. Danica.
Wolves, am I right?
Wolves. Oh man. All right, well, that was the button tour. So hopefully y'all remembered where they were. I promise. I won't switch them for a while. I won't switch them around for a while on that one. But all right, everybody, with that being said, we're going to get out of here. It's another school day tomorrow. And I'm excited. We got to do tomorrow. I've got to do my last chapter review on that one. And then I believe if we have time, we're going to start the live action Wise Beyond the Story version of ACOTAR. And if that one goes well, folks, yes, that's going to be a standard video after every story we read, is me doing a live action reenactment.
Oh, I want a clacker. Action.
That's funny. All right, everybody. Y'all have a great night. Until we see you in the next one. Have a great night, everybody. We really do appreciate it.
Bye, y'all. Sweet dreams.